comments?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Item number 4, public comment. Mr. Snyder, you're not public, but you're speaking of Mr. Parsons.
Yes, under public comment, Mr. Richard, would you like to speak on behalf of them?
I would love to.
I'm busy.
Yes. So, as y'all know, we developed like an advisory board and to try to roll out this oil and gas program. Ms. Parsons is the person we have chosen to roll that out as our instructor. And if you haven't met Ms. Parsons, she is a total rock star. There is nothing that we haven't thrown her way that she hasn't been absolutely amazing in. So with that, I'll let her kind of talk a little bit about what we've been working on. And we've been over to the bus barn, soon to be the oil and gas building. We went over there and kind of took measurements, kind of laid it out. And so that's one thing that we've been discussing, and we've also been discussing curriculum. She's gonna hand you something, it's like a pacing guide. So this is a pacing guide for Unit 1. Her and I have been going through the curriculum little by little, trying to shrink it down from a 5-day week that it's designed for into our 4-day weeks, and make sure that it's as relevant as possible to our kids.
Okay.
This is just our pacing guide to kind of help keep us on track for one. And then also, we had to scale it down a little bit to make, our 4-day weeks, because they had it a little bit longer. But it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna touch a lot of different topics in the whole field, kind of cover everything so the kids will be prepared, when they go out there.
So Mrs. Parsons, why would you be teaching this?
Why would I?
Not that this is for her.
Well, I have like a lot of family history with the oil field is one thing. I did work out there actually in the field, kind of like a labor hand. I ran equipment too, did a whole lot of different stuff out there. So, and I mean, I've just been in it forever. So anything that I don't have like hands-on experience with, I have a lot of people I can pull from. My husband, his brothers, the whole family. So anybody in town. Yeah, so, I think it's cool because when I was working out there, I ran into so many of our students that I had subbed for up here, which they thought was like, they're like, Mama Laura, why are you out here? I don't know. I really liked it, but I think it'll be good because it'll get them prepared. They don't, because most of the time they just throw you out there and they're like, go, figure it out. So that way they're prepared and then it'll be safer for them. And also they'll know more than most people, so hopefully they can get be a boss out there and make money and all that. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be good.
That's really cool that you're teaching this.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So,
When are we thinking it's gonna take place, as far as the beginning, the first day, first class? Are we talking this next year?
August.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So that's the plan. And if you can see on the pacing guide, I think that first week, our plan is to have we talked a little bit about Devin, with Rebecca Jensen from Devin, about coming in that first week because they gave a whole presentation about the relevance of the Permian Basin, specifically our region in oil and gas production for the entire country. And so they're gonna come and give that presentation to kind of give the kids a little bit of, kind of reel them in a little bit and kind of give them a perspective on how big it is in this area.
And Rebecca's gonna come do that?
Her or somebody from Devon. So I know Rebecca, when we were talking to her, she's given those presentations before. I'm not gonna commit that it's going to be her, but someone from Devon is willing to come down and give that. Like I said, that's a good way to start because it gives the kids, one thing to hook them in, and two, it gives them a chance to see, wow, I'm used to seeing all this oil and gas production around me, but I guess I didn't realize what percentage of the country's production is right here in the Permian Basin, so.
Awesome.
And there's just so much, you hear oil field, but there's so much to it
oh, yes.
that you don't
There's
even
so
know unless
many
you've been out there.
Absolutely.
So that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of, when we started this, it was kind of like, well, you know, I feel like good teachers are good teachers,
Mhm.
you know? And it doesn't matter what their expertise is or what their training is. If they're a good teacher, they can learn it,
Right.
pick it up and teach it. But I also know that I don't, you know, I'm not even originally from this area. So my knowledge of, oil and gas production is very, very limited. But Ms. Parsons, like she said, has good experience in it, and she's kind of the best of both worlds, so.
Mhm. That's awesome.
Nice.
Very nice.
Well, thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Good luck.
Look forward to it, yeah.
Look forward to it, for sure.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Snyder, on that?
No, sir, no, on that. If they want to elaborate anymore, they can do it down there at the very last of the agenda.
All right. Item number 5, financials, budget adjustments.
Okay, so I just got our second quarter actuals approved, so yeah, do you have a copy of those? I won't go over those line for line, but it's just letting you know what we're spending at and where our balances are on it. I do have the first page of the bars, and these are all gonna be the blanket approvals. So we've already exceeded the projected revenue. And so instead of coming months a month, we did this last year, instead of coming months a month, and it's just like a blanket approval just for these particular codes. So the first one is the local tax revenue for residential and non-residential taxes. This month it's for $96,1954. Local revenue taxes for dividends on investments, $58,890.26. SB 9 residential and non-residential taxes for $38,842.07. And then debt service for oil and gas taxes, $6,629.72. That's just for this month. But then again, it's, you know, a blanket approval for the remaining year, because we've already exceeded. And then, just approval for any other maintenance or transfer bars to eliminate negative balances.
You have the ed tech one on yours as well for 11,952.
Yes, did I not say that?
Yeah, you just did that.
Yeah, ed tech for residential and non-residential.
Okay, perfect. Anybody have any questions about those blanket approvals, or those being every single month?
Right, no, good.
If not, need a motion to approve those bars, and then, any transfer bars to eliminate negative balance.
I'll make that motion, I'll second it.
The next speakers is the tax collection for February. Operations, the first up column, SB 9, and your debt service, and then ed tech on the second page. The next page is the status of the SB 9.
Yes, thank you.
So we did receive our audited cash balances already, except they can't be published yet. The OSA had a few questions on some of the things that the auditor had submitted, so they have to answer that to us before we can publish them. So that's why I don't have it yet, but we will get it back, and I've already submitted bars to Fed for that. We do have a cash ending balance of 9.9 million, but a budget of 26 million. Our encumbrances for SB 9 is 51 million. The 31,100, that is the bond that we transferred over. That one is a budget balance of 13.5. And so going like just a little bit of information for the investment options. One of the things that we did talk about was the encumbrances and trying to free those up to put these in investment, so I can talk about those in a little bit.
Okay.
But just to be mindful, if I can just look at those encumbrances and then we can come back to the conversation
Okay.
for that. Then we have the fund balance report. And then the bank statement, we have a cash So for the cash we received 176,380 and 10 cents. And then we divided it up into those funds and we got dollar amount there. And then you have the bank statements attached as well. I apologize, I didn't get it in the mail, just snuck up on me. Have any questions for me so far?
I do not.
No,
No.
What is this? 600 return deposit something?
Return.
400 return deposit, 289.
Yeah, so that comment there, we had a check, it was from the city of Down, they just forgot to do a positive pay on it, so when they don't do one, you can't cash the check. And so they did positive, but then I couldn't find it, and we finally found what happened, and it was that check that was returned, so that's just my note when I'm doing a reconciliation on the thing. Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, on that, no?
Right, and staple.
I know, it seems to be every time.
It's just different. It's just different.
Perfect. What's next? Bill list.
I haven't seen it.
Me either. Need a motion to approve the bill list.
Want to make that motion? I'll second.
Okay. All right. Letter C, investment options.
Here we go. Here we are.
So I don't know that we didn't put anything in your packet for this because it was on the last one. And so basically, for right now, we decided to we were trying to do the $10 million and going with Morton just because they have more experience with the school system and they know all of our laws, they know how to book all the stuff. And so I do have a close relationship with them. I've been talking to them about this, like even just starting it up and whatnot. And so I've also been talking with ENS schools as well on how they book it and, every single, how they do the reporting on it. And so that's very helpful because they also use Morton as well. And so I think it's just basically, I don't know if it was gonna be y'all's decision or if it was resting on me or what
I
to
think
decide which company to use.
Yeah, I think the board will make the
Okay.
decision on what's happened as far as that goes. I know it definitely needs to be discussed amongst that, maybe when Randy and, obviously I wasn't here last meeting, were Randy and, or Mr. Chavez and Mr.
Randy was
Smucker
on the
available?
phone, and he was
Randy
on the
was
phone,
here.
but Renee was not
And
here.
then he was here at the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
He was on the phone when he showed up.
Randy,
Okay.
not Renee. Renee's not here at
yes.
all, so he has not even
He's,
seen any of
he's
this.
not familiar at all.
No, it's kind of where we left it was, at least at that meeting was,
Right.
until there's a full board, we just didn't feel comfortable
Right. And I,
doing anything.
yeah, and I think, we can definitely have a little bit of this, brief discussion about this right now, at least it's on the agenda, and then maybe, we can sort of.
Would you like it on the April one for like the decision?
Well, you know what, we can put it there for a decision. That'll give us time to all look into our notes. I've done some of my just basic stuff, basic interview investigation over the last couple of weeks. Just as I knew it was gonna come up that I thought I wasn't gonna be at the meeting. But I don't know how you guys felt about, the interaction with Mortensen and UBS. I don't know what's your,
So when they presented to us last week, Morton seemed more personal, more kind of down home, where USB sent, appeared, I don't wanna say more professional, but corporate, yeah, there you go. And, I don't have enough knowledge about these kinds of things to make that decision. I will be leaning more towards what Nicole has to say, since this is her wheelhouse, this is what she deals with every day. She knows infinitely more about finances than I do. So that's where I stand right now.
what do you think?
They were both very well presented, just two different ballparks, which way you wanna go.
Right,
What you're paying for and what you trust them with and what you're getting in return.
right,
So it's just totally different on either side.
right. My position, is I had to do a lot of looking into it because I'm not really familiar with this stuff. But how do we feel about, so I do know that there's a difference between Morton and UBS as far as one is a commission-based broker and one is a fiduciary, right? And that's a big difference. But did they talk about that? I mean, did they present that in the meeting?
UBS did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So
he did say
I'm-
that they charge the fees and.
Right,
that's
so
still
a broker doesn't have any obligation to us, right? They don't have a fiduciary responsibility. And I don't know if I completely understand this, and that's why I really wish I could have been here to ask them. But a fiduciary absolutely does, they're legally bound to act in our best interest, whereas a broker can, the easiest way I can think of it is, you go buy a car, you go to the finance manager, they say, okay, yeah, congratulations, you're qualified for a 3.9% loan. Well, really, you're qualified for 2.9, but they're gonna charge you 3.9, because that's where finance makes their money. And that's kind of that's the ability of a broker. They can sell your bond at 5%, tell you it's sold at 4.9, and that's where they make their money. So they don't have the responsibility to act in our best interest.
Transaction based, whatever that, their view is transaction.
Yes, because they're commission, so per transaction. And that is a big deal, but I don't know much about. Well, is it, but how do we know if there's somebody on there? Because we have to be able to watch that, right?
Because it would have it here.
Okay, so that wasn't somebody trying
That
to.
says email.
No, I just got an email.
Oh. So I know that's it, I know, well, I don't know, but what I looked into, that is something that we need to consider.
There's definitely some trust in the word fiduciary,
For sure,
for me.
for sure,
I mean, it's a lot of money,
right,
but there's also a lot of trust in somebody you know. Oh, I mean, we know USB does UBS works with the Woolworth for
Right.
10+ years and
Right.
several people around town
right,
as well. But this bunch, the other bunch, Morton,
right.
they, well, you just turn to that one page that shows everybody that they're working for. There's like 20 of them. Yeah,
And they're all districts.
yeah, so. But
How-
it
what
is
were the-
lacking the word.
Fiduciary, yeah, that,
Lacking.
you know, when I was looking them up, not these guys up, but looking at the difference, that is the part that stood out to me, was just that alone. I was thinking, well, you know, when we're talking the amount of money we're talking, and they don't have any, and a broker doesn't have any responsibility to us, they're a salesman for the fiduciary is kind of like your legal counsel. They have to act in your best interest. That's the part that stood out to me. And I don't know how their presentations were, or what does Morton outside of school, and what do they do? Where are they out of? Like, they're in New Mexico?
They're based out of Utah.
Oh, they're in Utah, okay.
They're Mormons. Said they're Mormons.
Oh.
Right away.
Right. We're in some shoes. What do you, we can I think the ultimate need is just to get the whole board together and just.
And it's not like an
Well,
emergency.
isn't the meeting recorded where you can go back and?
It is, yes, absolutely.
Well, that would be
Yeah,
really good,
that's.
because they did a great job. They went
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
Morton went first.
They both do.
And then Clarence said, they did a great job.
Yeah.
No sense
Was
in
there
telling
any,
you.
when they I thought about that this morning, was reviewing it on the link. But when they were presenting, did they have different presentations? Because we gave them,
No.
basically our
They
portfolio,
wouldn't
right?
have they didn't have different presentations, because whenever they finish, he's like, okay, I'm doing the exact same thing that they're doing, I'm just gonna tell you about my company. That's what he did.
Okay,
It's not like it's a competition of who can do what, because it's the market, it's the money market, it's treasury bills.
well, but they really,
It's not
but no, they
It's
absolutely
just,
do something different.
it's just the way that they govern all of that, not govern like,
Well, but there's definitely a difference in how they can make
how
us
they
money.
charge, yeah.
Not how they charge us, how they can make us money, how they can invest our money. I know we're limited, but
Yeah,
they can still individualize the investments. I know that piece.
Yeah, and
But
they both
do they
gave,
have different ideas on how to invest our
they
money?
both gave the sheet in there on where to invest at.
Oh,
And there's only certain things by law that
Right,
we can
right,
invest in, and
right.
they were both right on the same page.
right.
So
Okay.
it depends on how fast we need to spend the money, or how quickly we need it, is what it's based on where we wanna invest.
Right.
Because you can do one that matures in 6 months, in 12 months, like that, and so it's just how fast we're needing that liquidity back, and which we really don't.
And Nicole, real quick, what were you talking about, like on the investment, you were talking about what's encumbered a while ago?
Yes, so one of the things that RJ did, address us was, hey, if y'all need a draw schedule, we can get one since you're going into investments. And at first I was like, no, we'll just do that, but then I talked to Morton and they said, with the encumbrances, you turn those encumbrances into an investment part, and then they have a draw schedule attached to it.
Mhm.
That's your encumbrance there. So all the money that we have encumbered in through Wells Fargo, we can release all those encumbrances and put them back into our investments.
Mhm.
And it's strictly for construction because it has a draw schedule attached to it.
And we're yielding a better
So
return.
we can use the
Yes.
encumbered balance also to draw
So
money,
we
not
could-
just what's free.
We could, that's what I'm saying, you can see those encumbrances on there, like we could do up to 60 million if we wanted to. The only thing is like, of course, the first maturity date just depends on which bonds we go into, which bills we use,
Mhm.
that we can get a return back.
Right.
And then, work with RJ to get a draw schedule, and that draw schedule will help us out here in the office whenever we're getting ready to pay, because we have invoices that are just weird amounts every single time, and so if we have that draw schedule, then we already know exactly what's gonna come
How
out.
much you like, okay.
Yeah.
And you can do that with either of these companies?
I'm assuming so, like I said,
So I know that,
talked to
like,
parents, so-
yeah, so I know that, about, when I talked to Clarence, my gosh, it's probably been a month and a half or 2 months ago, whenever we first had this talk, I called Clarence just to get so he could kind of fill me in a little bit on, stuff that I clearly don't know. And he advised that there was, through the system of UBS, that they can do, that you can have a single point login and do your bills, your Wells Fargo stuff, your draw
More
schedules.
services
Yeah.
over there.
Right, that you can
I don't
actually
even
do
know
it.
if you use them or they even make sense, but he
Through
listed more
his-
services.
Yeah, through that system, that's a single point login pretty much, and everything, you can access all of your funds, including like Wells Fargo, you're paying your bills,
All
your
the
draw schedules, 24/7.
Yeah, I do remember him saying that now.
That was, I don't really know all about it, but I do know that was one thing he had talked about. So I think they have the same thing that Morgan maybe does.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe what we should do is just, if it's not emergent, which it's not, just, we'll move it to next schedule. Anybody who needs to, I know I need to go and watch the presentations. Is there a point of contact, like, so I know obviously I can get a hold of Clarence and get some clarification. Is there somebody at Morton that we can contact?
Yeah, I have Ryan and, Larry's number.
Perfect. Maybe we can get that.
Is it not in there at all?
Oh, I honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, it's on that very last page of it.
Yeah, I thought I saw some pictures of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if I have any contact.
These gentlemen here?
Yes, Ryan and Larry.
So it doesn't have any contact information, but you have that,
Yeah, I
right?
can forward it, yeah. The only thing that I do ask is that if there's not an approval on April, we can just push it until July. Because I don't want it to cross over on fiscal years.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't have an approval in April.
And for it to take effect in the budget, in the new
May
budget.
first, right? Or, I guess it would be July 1, right? Yeah, I don't, that gives you enough time? Okay.
So like I was saying earlier, I don't know about investments and this kind of thing, but it's kind of sounds like this is a big deal. You know, with the amount of money that you're talking about.
Well, it's not, it's similar to the cash sweep that we're already doing.
Right.
But, and the reason why we're doing the cash sweep is just because the insurability of all the money that we have in there.
Yeah.
And so because of that sweep, we're able to have all of our money there. But it's only FDIC there is 250,000 and that's your max. And so that's why we did the sweep, so the rest of the $56 million that's in there, it's sitting there saved.
Right.
And so but we're still holding $1 million in there, so we're still out like 750. And the reason why we hold in $1 million is because of how much bills that we're paying.
Mhm.
It's growth, I mean, it's.
So, yeah,
flush very, very
we're losing, we're not getting any return on our interest in that million that's sitting there. We're only insured for 250,000. And yet all of our encumbered money, we can actually pull out of the encumbrance, put it back into our investments
Yeah.
and make money on it.
So my whole point in saying that was, I was gonna ask is this something where maybe we need to have a special meeting to just discuss this? Because like, I feel like this is, you know, something really big that just shouldn't be, you know, rock,
I'm
paper,
completely
scissors.
okay with that.
You know what I mean? Or will we have enough time on our next agenda to have this in and to have a good, full discussion, you know, where everybody's minds and hearts are clear?
I'm with you on that, because I feel like we're gambling,
Oh, that's 100%.
Like,
Yeah, we
and
really
I don't
need
think
to
it's
pay
smart to
attention.
gamble with
Right.
taxpayers.
Right? Amen.
This tax,
What do you
right?
Republican?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you?
I said, what are you, a Republican?
Oh, yeah.
I'm right.
Just kidding. I'm completely okay with that. If the board is interested in prosecuting a special meeting to discuss,
Just to understand that.
that I'm completely okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. What's your schedule look like? Right?
In the near future or a little further out?
So it would have to be before,
Like, so we can
Well,
make
well,
a decision
I mean,
in
like,
April?
well, so, I mean, we can actually make the decision at the special meeting.
Okay.
Right? We don't have to wait until the April meeting, so it would actually probably
As long
help.
as it's on the agenda.
As long as it's, yeah, as long as it's a special meeting, we can actually have action on it. So our next board meeting is actually gonna be April 21st, right? Okay, so sometime before that. you guys just let me know when you guys think that's the only, I don't
Like any day or just Monday only?
I think it could really be any day,
Just not a Wednesday night, y'all.
yeah.
What about maybe if we shoot for April 1st, give us a couple of weeks and it's a Tuesday, but
April Fools.
Yeah.
I'm,
that gets us through spring break and then
Right.
next week and then,
Yeah, 'cause that following weekend will be in your mental. But yeah, that'd be.
April 1st, Tuesday,
Sounds fine. with
Good.
me.
good, let's do that, April 1st, you just wanna do a 5 o'clock meeting, special meeting?
Can we do it a little later?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
6?
6, I'm
Okay.
okay with 6, well, I'm okay.
I'm
You
okay.
guys okay with it? Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Snyder, you good? Nicole,
Give me enough time.
are you good too?
So far.
Yeah.
So far.
So Tuesday, April 1st at 6 PM.
Yeah.
We'll have a special meeting, and we will just, only thing on the agenda will be,
just this.
investment options, discussing, Morton Capital versus UBS. And then we can put, discussion and action. If everybody's okay with having action on that day.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Okay. Mr. Snyder, I didn't ask any of the principals or anything like that, if you want to, should we make sure it was okay with their schedules, or they're probably
I don't
not?
think they would.
Okay.
Unless they just are interested in it. Mr. Little might be.
Mrs. Comar seems to be.
I'm good. Mr. Little loves this kind of thing. He loves it.
Perfect, thank you. That's April 1st, 6 PM, we'll have that discussion. And Nicole, if there's anything you think, you attended, it's just on the phone, right?
Well, I made it about
Right
right after they got done talking.
Oh, okay, cool, 'cause I was just gonna go back and watch their presentation on the link, because
I missed the presentation.
So it is
Got right after they got-
right, it is
How
available.
long is it available? Forever?
It's forever.
Okay.
Like so many years, 4 years, I think,
Okay.
before we have to, there's a state law makes us 4 years.
Okay, so if we wanna review it, or Ms. Nicole, if you have anything you wanna pass on to us between now and then that you think is applicable, please do. So that way we can really come in and just hash it out and figure out what our best.
Would it ever make sense to give them both a shot?
You know what, see, we absolutely have the ability to do that.
We have to hire somebody to keep track.
I don't know what that looks like over there.
That's the only thing I say.
It would be more work.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're needing.
Right,
Like to,
well, with private investment, you can do that. And I would think with our investment, we could too, but I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Maybe
something
they
we
can answer that.
Yeah, it's something we can discuss.
Yeah.
And, do you think we could possibly, do you think somebody would be willing to be on standby in case we have any questions for them?
It should be.
I would think so.
yeah, and see, I thought our meeting was on the 27th after spring break.
Oh,
And so I told them I'd give them more information on Wednesday so they could field me a portfolio for the dollar amount that we were wanting to do,
Right.
and maybe the draw schedule that's with it. And so that's what I was gonna do, but,
So do you think we should ask them to do that before our April 1st?
that's what I needed from them. I needed to know what it was gonna look like.
And then I guess
But
we
just because there's a process of trying to move, the funds or bringing them back, like they stay here. And so that's what there's a lot of things that it's
Yeah,
attached
moving
to.
parts.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody from Morton and then maybe Clarence from UBS may be available for us that evening, and we can say, hey, we might reach out to you, and maybe some clarification from you during the special meeting. If you guys wouldn't mind just asking both Morton and UBS to have that availability, that would be great too. Because we could just conference one in at a time. Cool, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a much better idea than us trying to do it right now. You actually came up with an idea, that's crazy.
Hey,
Look at
it
you,
happens once in a blue moon.
look at you. Just. All right, anything else from, do we have to consider anything else?
No.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. All right, item number 6, old business, ongoing business, there are updates on our football and no phones and meeting, Mr. Schneider.
Okay, so construction updates, we will start with last number. Good. And then I'm gonna have Mr. Office do the architect part.
So we started started the elementary where, elevators here, start setting in, getting ready to go to inspection, stuff, second floor, we'll start sheet rock, all in the following week. Still for the elementary, possibly can have it here this week. So that's still been up and down, and back and forth, so. we cross the
And you're talking about tying it into the other building, right?
Yeah, there's still for us to be able to start tying it into the existing, building.
There was a disconnect there, right? Something happened, they couldn't get it.
Yes.
So that's where we're at on that one. The indoor where we got approval on rebar, all that stuff, sonic tubes here. Rebar came in on the ground last week, we're tying right now, cutting sonic tubes, getting ready to start drilling holes for that. But within the 17th, try to start drilling holes, starting around the 17th.
And rebar was a major issue, so they couldn't do the drill, they couldn't bore the holes because they're 24 foot down and just leave them. There's like 100 of them. How many are there, literally? And so you can't have 90 24-foot holes where there's a bunch of kids, because you'll have 90 kids in the holes. So one of the. So the rebar was a big thing to get that.
Rebar actually sticks out of the ground, 4 or 5 foot. So that builds us a safety barrier for somebody gets in there, even animals, get in there and fall in a hole. So, I mean, it's a safety deal for us. That's the main reason we're holding up on that. That's where we're at on the indoor, junior high, still going up real well. I mean, that's about all that's going on.
Yeah, junior has made a lot of progress just today.
Really?
On the radar, go look at the radar, just today, just from this morning till.
So
One of the trusses too, those big inverted trusses make a big difference in what it looks. It actually takes a day to put one of those things in, because there's a lot of them. And, and then of course, having to mobilize, they come in 2 pieces. So we gotta mobilize them, get them up there, get everything stable and welded together. So that takes a little time. What else we got? Bus barn, where we're still working on their work and everything. We talked with Philip today, and he's hoping to have us another crew here by next week. So, and then we got one on the baseball.
Yeah, the baseball, we got most of the interior walls up. We're gonna be grouting, filling in the block. There's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we should be, next week, we should start putting up trusses maybe. I have the trusses, I have the decking, I have everything on site. We should start moving pretty quick. On the athletics, we're gonna start digging the footing on the south side retaining wall, which is the one closer to the concession stand and the scoreboard. We're gonna start on footings on that, maybe by next week. So that's gonna move on to.
how does our timelines look? I mean, so baseball edition, May 25, and then elementary edition suggesting June of this year?
Yeah, that's still a game plan.
Okay, we're still relative,
We get so many change orders.
right,
So and every time we get a change order, it prolongs us, or the project comes to a screeching halt because we're having to change stuff.
right.
So that, it plays a big factor in it being on the actual date, because I know our finish dates compared to some of the architects' finish dates they're a little bit off.
Right.
And some of that is out of our, being home marketing, that's the 100 page, John. And
Right.
that they can answer a lot more of that than that we possibly.
Okay,
I mean, we can get to what we see on the ground from our experience and what we think can happen, you know, and play it out though.
yes. The only reason I asked is, obviously June 1 just leads into August 6th very quick.
Oh, yeah.
The kids are right back in school. And is our intention to have that building filled August 7th, 6th, whatever the first day is, right? So, yeah, that becomes really scary. We did that once.
I would say any little saving grace on that will be, we still have an existing building
Right,
that we can use.
Right.
You know, and so we won't be out of, you know, we still have somewhere where we can be.
last time we had to cancel school.
Right, right, I remember that.
That wasn't good.
Extended summer vacation.
Yeah, you guys were part of that, yeah, we had to cancel, but if we couldn't start school because we were late, so we're just like, oh goodness, let's go.
We do everything, we work overtime, nights, whatever, just to get it done.
We just get a little nervous right around.
Yeah, I don't blame you, we even get hurt.
I'm sure you do.
We may be shaking on the inside, we just have to stay slow.
Perfect, thank you, sir.
That is the intention. Now, the furnishings are another issue, because when they're done, we can't have 8 classrooms of furniture just sitting somewhere, we have nowhere for it to go. So that can't be ordered until we know, so that's why I'm saying it all has to lock in, so it could be an empty, beautiful finished building and the furniture's not here yet. If that's the case, then we'll just,
Who's handling the ordering, is it Parker, the furniture?
no, we do the furniture.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we do that.
That would be, whichever, it would be,
That one in
AK
Albuquerque.
sales. AK sales or business environments, probably AK sales.
Awesome. Anything else, sir? Sirs?
Unless y'all have any questions, any more questions?
No, Randy, good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome, thank you.
I got off easy.
Man, that was easy.
Today. I was hoping they were gonna, really, you guys.
I was going to do it, they said, no, we can't get until like September. I was like,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Yeah, the biggest thing, that I foresee is gonna be tying the 2 buildings in together.
Yeah.
And because once we take the top off, everything's exposed. I mean, it's kind of like crunch time, and I've been talking with these guys a lot about making sure that, you know, whatever we gotta do, whether that's, you know, John can dedicate to working some weekends and stuff like that,
You know how it is when it comes to y'all, it's like the auditorium.
Right.
He told me when he hired me, he said, Reggie, I think this crap up.
Yeah. He's been real good, he's been real good. to
And
us.
they,
You guys have been real good.
and just to let y'all know, and everybody out there, they did not do the skate park. Lasco did not do that. I've had so many people ask me that, they did not do the skate park. I just wanted that clear, and everybody knows that. I've
Yeah,
told
we
them.
hear a lot about it, of course, you know, we're all follow on Facebook, you know, with this whole.
Right.
We get trash talked a lot, and we end up.
Yeah.
Just to let
I
y'all
think,
know.
I put it up.
Don't do it already.
Why didn't people when they did it?
Just
Because
because
they're
they're
Signed
there.
up, yeah. I guess you guys.
Well, Well, we had with the basketball court, this is no more fun.
It's almost-
They have a sign up on
We were
it.
the general
Yeah, there's a
contractor
big
on the
sign
whole
that
project.
says Lasco Construction.
It wasn't there until it started.
The skate park, they were contracted by the city.
Yeah,
It's separate to us.
So Omar, you're saying you do not want us to say that you did it?
I don't take the blame for something.
Right.
We'll say Omar's fixing it,
Omar,
okay?
you didn't do it.
Leave them alone.
Yeah, they haven't liked us either, but that's.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know what all these skate workers are gonna do.
All 3 into that same stall.
Right. I mean,
I figured you're gonna see somebody on their bikes out there before.
right. Yeah, that's not job security. Yeah.
There you go.
So as far as our timeline goes, you can see, or in front of you, you have, now this is Park Hills. But like I said, every time there's a change order, and we're kind of kings of change orders around here, you know, it kind of pushes some timelines and things like that. But if you saw the pictures on Facebook that we posted the other day, I mean, the elementary is looking great. The first floor, I mean, they got sheetrock going up all over the place and stuff like that. So it's moving along nicely right here. I would say the other pressing thing that we are currently working on is the temporary setup for the oil and gas building, which will be the 3-bay bus barn. Right now, Park Hill last week sent all the drawings to LASCO to get a price. And so on next month's agenda, you should have that as an action item for your approval, so we can move forward on that oil and gas. And they're still saying June, it'll be done. That way we can have July to get all of our equipment in there and set up and prepped, kind of the same kind of timeline as far as the elementary goes there.
Is Mr. Tolliver okay with, because we're taking over a big part of their area,
He's not, but what can you do?
well,
I'm just kidding. He knows a little short-term pain is what the long-term pain. He knows what's going on, he's great, he's excited about it, honestly.
Okay, well, I was just thinking, I mean, I'm like, we're taking over this whole place.
So look
for
what
6
he
months.
gets, yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, that's right.
What he gets is, and then the oil and gas class is gonna take up part of his other place
That's
that
what
he
I'm
doesn't use, so, yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, we got lots of projects going on. And then if you go to your next page, you can kind of see things that we've been working on in design, process and timeline that we're kind of pushing out there as well. But the big thing right now that's full force is gonna be our oil and gas, our elementary and our junior high. That's we got all hands kind of on deck pushing right there. So any questions on the future?
Yeah, I have a question just for my OCD
Okay.
friends. I know, I mean, there's nothing that can be done about it now, but I was just wondering what the rhyme and the reason is for these windows in the elementary edition, why they aren't centered.
Do you know they aren't on the back of it either?
Yeah, it matches the current
Yeah.
setup of the elementary.
Where's it on the pencils? I got all the pencils.
Yeah, it's the same setup, same design as on the.
I'm sorry, but every time we go on the track, my kids are like,
The
oh.
windows aren't centered in the pencils, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that has to do with the
they're not even
structural,
sent in the same direction either.
No, they're not, some
but
of
they're
us
just
are
like the
right.
back ones.
All right.
So it's just keeping up with the other
Yeah.
ones, okay.
Good question.
No, I
No,
noticed.
I noticed that. That's not for sure.
Right, and so some of these pictures that we're gonna go through here are just some of the ones that we posted on Facebook here. As you saw today, we have the frames in on our vestibule here. Now we're just waiting on the glass, and that's pretty much it. Once we get
It's really airy, right?
Yeah.
The glass is so clean.
Right. So once we get that, that'll finish that one up pretty quick.
It's taking longer to build that than the elementary school. Understand?
And that is all, and straight up, that is all based on the glass.
Glass, right.
I mean, that's,
That's also old.
and it's,
That's a
we're still waiting on the same glass supplier for the glass on the elementary.
Well, let's clarify, after he gets to the elementary, he's on the project.
He's not, I mean, you laugh, but he's not gonna be on the junior high or the indoor, because it is taking such
And
a
the
long
indoors
time.
are massive glass
Yeah.
facility, so.
And so we just kind of restarted
He's at
the minutes.
Carlsbad, right?
Yeah,
Called Cruz glass, I call it.
yeah.
Well, okay, going on glass, okay.
It's called out.
I thought you were saying that Omar wasn't gonna order for it. I was like, that's rough.
Omar will be at the skate park every
Baseball field house, it's looking great. Like Omar said, getting
It's come
ready.
all the way quick also.
Yeah, getting ready to put the trusses up on there, and we're just about done. I got done with the block today. I don't know if you still have some
We should be done with inside block tomorrow.
tomorrow.
And we still got the two gables are blocked, and then all the trucks are still in between. Another thing we forgot too, that one light that was down on there, we got it dug out today, it should be up.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
And that's also, this is connected to the water next. Well, let's go back to so the water that we have on the agenda here to supply that facility is gonna take more than the 2-inch line that's going through Thornton Addition and Mr. Owen's property. That's the problem now. And it's a 2-inch line. And we need enough water for even firefighting and suppression, and we just can't go over the 2-inch lines. Even these bathrooms are there's more here now than there was, the number of toilets, flushing and stuff.
Right.
We need more water supply than what we've got currently. And we have a water well, but it doesn't go to the building, the current water. Just let you know when that's coming up on the agenda.
This right here is your first floor of the elementary. Again, it's just sheetrock's going up right there. You're looking north to south right here. So basically, if you're standing on the north side of this building, looking straight down south to the hallway.
Down where the elevator is.
Yeah,
Where, those stairs, where are they gonna go?
to the second floor.
The second floor.
Yeah. Forget I asked exactly.
How do you get electricity from the back of the truck?
You have oversight. You have to hit.
You're still not true.
Like, speaking of language down there or what?
And then the next is, that's gonna be your second floor. This is actually one of the double rooms right here. It's gonna have the wall, the collapsible wall there. So there should be one on the first floor and the second floor there, but that's the second floor.
Stairs are big, that's it.
Right.
Seriously, will.
First floor, that's your first floor double room right there. That's gonna have the room divider there.
That's great.
So your 25-foot holes, that's what all of that stuff is for right there. The rebar that those guys have been putting together, I swear it's about as long as this room or longer. I mean, they are giant.
And look at the size of the little
Yeah.
vehicles and stuff, that's how big the sonotubes that'll be down in the ground with concrete built in them, that's how big those are.
So it's gonna be quite,
25.
this whole project here is gonna be quite a sight to watch go up. So, it's gonna be interesting to see all this
We
kind
see
of
a
go.
lot of cranes, we're gonna have to have big cranes to set all the precast, the steel, and a lot of cranes.
That's the north retaining wall. You can't really see it from the street level, but that goes pretty much all the way around the north curve of the track right there. And then like Omar said, we're fixing to start next week probably on the retaining wall, that kind of the same thing on the south side right there in front of the concession stand.
We do have the fencing that goes on top on site.
Okay, awesome.
We see this arch windows there.
Right. Wasn't there a concern at some point about how close the track was to that wall?
Yeah, we've got all that. You gotta be 1 meter of safety between those walls and the actual running surface.
Oh, I see, okay.
It'll look like another lane, but it's not, it's just safety. They go in and asphalt and everything for the safety, just have making it dirt or whatever.
All right.
It'll look like the track going all the way to the wall.
It really does. Okay, I just remember there was a big discussion about it.
And if the track coaches do good, they'll teach their runners to run on the inside, so it's not really gonna be that big of a mistake there. Right, press box, windows are fixing to go up. We're still waiting on the roof to be completed on that. That should tie up pretty quickly here on everything. I know a big thing was we wanted that to kind of be a central hub for all the lights and technology. I think there's something on here that can be presented to you guys, but I want everything to be controlled from there. And so that it took a little bit longer on that there. Next. Bus barn, this is gonna be where the new, is it 3 or 4 bay area with the 4 bay bus barn with the bus wash. That'll be all on that side. There used to be a house that's set right there, and that's right across the street from Snyder's house. It kind of
And I live in a dust bowl right now
I
between
bet
the
you
two.
do.
I'm not even kidding, I thought I'm bringing that to y'all complain. I thought about doing the public comments. It's bad.
That's on the speaking of.
So we need water.
In the spring of
I have always this spring, I have one of those little robot vacuums that even gave up and went back. I'll keep pushing the deal, it won't come out because I can't pick all the time.
It's bad of you, that's what
It is, yes.
Maybe you should have your house tinted.
It's on strike. Maybe I should, I don't know.
the next few pictures is just gonna be the red iron that,
That,
the junior high, it's impressive. I mean, that steel started going up and it's impressive. That the testing center from, if you're facing on Panther, looking at it, that's gonna be state of the art, massive showcase area
People
right there.
stop us and ask us, hey, why are you not putting those trusses upside down? Upside down, that's how they go.
and then, and all that concrete is where students can sit and connect.
Yeah, that's gonna be a commentary right there where those lifts are. That's gonna be the junior high commons area.
That's cool.
Right there.
Everybody's so happy.
Yeah, it's gonna be something else.
Line in there.
They do what?
They run
Everything
everything.
sits so line.
No, junior kids just, it's either walk or run, there is no.
Yeah. He run, I had one of the junior high kids runs through my house. I'm like,
So one thing
what's your purpose?
that we started bringing up, and I just wanna kinda get a feel from you guys on if you would be interested in this. You know, we did this with the auditorium and stuff, or, you know, through all of our projects. Next month, possibly, would you want to do a little walkthrough of the elementary?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Okay, and then maybe again, a few months after that, right before, we start moving in, so you can kind of.
Would it be possible on April 1st at like 5:30 or something, and then April 1st y'all can go through everything?
We can attend, I mean,
Would y'all like to
we can
try
try
that?
to do a walkthrough.
You know, we tried, I usually don't leave locations about something.
Right, right.
We can try that.
Yeah, and if not, we can also do
Do it on
the
April.
April meeting as well.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
There's a
If
pretty,
it's.
I'll tell you about it later, but there's a pretty big culinary event that night. I don't know how much time you'll have. The April board meeting, April 21st.
Oh, right.
Okay. I was gonna tell you a little bit about it.
Okay.
It's.
Well, we'll figure out a time where we can,
Yeah.
go to you guys through that.
If the first, I mean, will it be enough done for us to walk through it?
Oh, yeah, we can walk through it right now. I mean,
Is there no
we
reason
just-
to do it after?
the biggest thing is so they can clean up a little bit, that way we kind of not that long. Yeah.
It'll be.
Okay.
So, yeah, but we can shoot for the first there and then push these guys a little bit to get ready for that. But any questions?
Yes, sir, thank you.
We talked a little bit about the track, about the retaining wall and such. Do we have a timeline for the track?
So, it's supposed to be done before football season right now.
The
There's,
reason they haven't started yet is because of track season. They're still using it for practice.
Right.
Oh, it is being used right now?
it is, it's still, you can still use it, it's not the best. I would say it's still better than some other schools in our district. But,
That's interesting, because I asked the superintendent a few weeks
It's
ago
not
about
for
using
public.
the track, and he said no.
We're closed it to the public.
For real?
there's a lot that's going on out there.
Yeah.
People still come out there and walk.
Yeah, it's.
Are you encouraging me to be a rule breaker? That's what I'm hearing.
I'm not, well, I mean, you do what you want.
Good answer.
I signed every one of these paychecks. My name was on them. I'll walk that track.
Discourage people from using it, but.
Got it, okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
That's awesome. It's coming along, actually, we're getting really, that's a lot of big projects.
Yeah.
We're starting to.
We're starting to do all kinds of that's pretty good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We still love you, Omar.
The indoor facility, June of 26, it just seems really.
Far away or too
Well,
close?
Close, that's a lot.
You know, just to kind of go back real quick on something, just full disclosure, I would say the junior high edition, December of 25, that seems,
Like a spring break around-ish.
yeah, I honestly, what I would say if we're in it by the next school year,
Right.
the start of the 26 school year.
And that's hard to do, because just because they're finished, don't mean we're ready.
Right.
Well, that's the whole other thing is trying to.
And so I've kind of said that from the get-go, that December of 25 timeline was kind of, to me, unrealistic, just based on what I've been seeing and now getting to work with these guys daily and hear the struggle with getting material and things like that. It just seems a little unrealistic. So I just want full disclosure on that one.
That's why I was a little asking about obviously the June 1.
Yeah.
Because
But what I've always been, you know, we don't wanna say, hey, guys, we realize you can't finish that.
No,
That's
no,
the worst thing to do.
We're pushing them as quickly
Yeah,
as,
That they
push 'em,
see,
push 'em,
give
push 'em.
you so much room.
They took advantage of
Right.
that, so we
Yeah.
gotta just, you know what, there's no change, finish that schedule.
Yeah.
That's.
They do work pretty hard for us.
They do.
Days and nights and weekends and.
They're working 5 and 6 days a week.
Did they, how are they, I should have asked them, how are they suggesting they're gonna connect those two buildings with the kids in it?
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, because, well, they have a temporary wall built in already, so it's blocked off. So in the main office area, you know, when you walk into the office on the left, and then there was the exit door that goes, well, that's completely blocked off now. You cannot exit out of that right now. So they've already started demolition into that area right there.
Wow.
And so they have a temporary wall that blocks those, it even blocks the double doors that go into the first set of classrooms right there. And so they're ready. You know, it's just getting the material on site, but then once they tear open that roof, man,
It has to happen.
yeah, it's gotta go, they had to have everything on site and ready to go because, I mean, you're just gonna be battling the elements at that point and, you know, trying to keep the school climatized and stuff like, it's gonna be tricky.
Yes, no doubt.
But it has to be done. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions about the construction updates? No?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. That'd be strategic plan update.
Okay. So our strategic plan, is the latest one in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the date when this was updated.
No, it's in your packet.
It's in your packet on your strategic plan. So what we've really done is we've added more of a timeline. So if you see the red line, Mr. Little was instrumental in that and Ms. Comar both. So what we've done is we've updated, all the updates are basically on the second page and a little bit on the third page. So if you look at the red on the second page, that's what's been added. So what we've done is we've zeroed in on the language arts and the math and zeroed in more on the timeline and zeroed in on when it's gonna be done. And then as we have our scope and sequence and our timelines, then those are gonna go out to the teachers. And so what I'm proposing in the calendar, which you haven't seen, because we're waiting on the legislature, the state filed an appeal at 4:50, and they were supposed to file it by 5 p.m. On the calendar. So we thought that it was done and they weren't gonna fight it, but they did file an appeal at like 10 minutes before the deadline.
How in the world can they do that?
That's also the number 4, but I don't,
They have
They can file an appeal.
no.
but they don't even know why, other than she said she's gonna fight it all the way down. That's what, she's being spiteful. So honestly, that's all that I get out of it, and so was the Superintendent Association was surprised, but it was just part of their ploy, I think, just to try and drag it out. However, all the stays are still in place, so it goes back, it reverts back, the stay that the judge put on it stays there until there's a judgment, so it shouldn't affect next year's planning. So that's what we're trying to do, is make sure there's no legislature, that's the only thing that could affect the calendar of this current. If there's no legislature, the calendar that I'm proposing has the full week. Instead of students coming back, it's all staff that week. There is no students until the 11th of August. You'll see it soon.
Didn't legislature pass the bill that allowed us to set our own date? I can't remember what bill it was.
Yes, so the spirit of the legislature still says it's up to the district.
Right.
But the head and state is saying, no, it's not, we want to make them 5 days. They did pass it, but she vetoed something.
Why are they such haters?
I don't know.
Because I thought once the
The spirit of the
legislature
legislature
passed it,
is, yeah.
I thought at that point it was even gonna overrule even if the law said, yeah, Ed can do it, I thought the legislative bill even overrode that, but I guess not.
No, because she can still veto it, if anything they come up with in the past. I don't know where it's at in the past, because the legislature, they designated hours. That's all they ever have said. This is just hours.
Right.
So I don't know if they're gonna submit it now, if there's time, because they filed the appeal. We're kind of thinking in the last part of the legislature, they had this deadline. So if they would have filed it earlier, there would have been a lot of lawmakers coming up with laws and bills to counteract that. However, it's almost not giving them enough time to counteract it, and then the state another year to fight it. before the next legislative session. That makes sense. So that's where we're at with it. So what that comes back to on the red line here is it kind of gives us our focus and zeroes in on the elementary and math scores. And by doing that, we're gonna get the scope and sequence and all of Mr. Loftus is working on it, and both principals on what we're gonna do with math and reading. And so whatever we do to implement it and to put it into the timeline on the scope and sequence for the teachers, that's gonna be done in the first week of school. And so to put that additional work in there, we need a couple more days in the calendar, and that's fine.
Yeah, I thought it was HB 65, it says it passed.
Has it been voted on by the full legislature yet? Because sometimes the bill will pass, but it's still not voted completely.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, well, I'm glad, hopefully they'll submit some of that in there and it'll help us out by the end of the legislature. And we'll get a legislative update. I'm going over something else in my report, but we do have a regional school board meeting in Artesia that would probably be pretty good to go to, because they're gonna probably have a good update for us then.
Yeah, what's the date on that?
It's in there.
It's in, okay.
I think it's March, it's always the first day of spring break, right?
Not
No,
this time.
it's at the end of.
Yeah, it's in there.
I've got it.
Shoot, I guess.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's in my report, I'll give y'all my report there, it's in there, so.
March 21.
All right, so anyway, that's what the strategic plan, that's where we're at with it, and so y'all can look at it. This is also a good copy, because all the red line stuff is in it now, so y'all can look at it and see what the focus is.
I like that, makes it easier.
Makes it easier to figure it out.
I didn't see it. Organized over there. Everybody thinking about that.
He has a color printer.
Yeah.
And so that's the update, and I'll keep y'all, it won't be on every agenda, but anything changes at all, I'm gonna let you know about what's going on with it, so you can tell.
Are we interacting with the other districts that got picked for this as well?
Something like,
I didn't know.
but we're, I mean, I don't wanna brag, but we are a little bit ahead of some of the other districts. Well, brag on the people here, yes, we're jumping out ahead.
Yeah, like way ahead, yes.
Yeah. It's almost like what we weren't gonna do it anyway. We're just jumping out ahead.
All right. Anything else on the strategic plan from the board? Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Number 7 is new business, Larry upcharge for new bus.
Okay, so we got to looking at our purchase order, and the purchase order didn't match the final price. We did have a diesel bus that you guys approved, but it was with the front nose. It was a long time ago, it was over a year ago. And so front nose diesel, so we put it to the diesel pusher buses because they have a lot more room underneath them and inside. So we wanted to make it into a diesel pusher bus. That was never modified in the purchase order. And so Tillery called and said, well, we don't have that. I said, well, y'all are about finished. It's actually in paint right now. And I said, so y'all might have a gel paint for bus that we're not gonna buy if you don't get that corrected, because all we know, there's a diesel bus that we purchased. Well, they didn't tell us what the upcharge was for they never corrected their quote, is what I'm trying to say. So they have to eat the bus if you don't approve it.
But they didn't paint the wrong bus.
No, they didn't. They just ordered a nicer, a little bit more expensive of an upcharge and never gave us a quote on how much more it was. So we just thought the quote in place was the one they wanted to use, because it also goes through CES on the quote. That's fine. So anyway, it's an upcharge total of $44,038. That is with 3 trade-ins, valued at $17,000. Because the 3 trade-ins are the oldest Suburban, which is the first one that I procured as superintendent almost 10 years ago. And it's got almost 100,000 miles, and it hasn't given us any problems, but I don't know if I'm honest on that. It just getting longer than 2 for people. For somebody to drive, it's still a fantastic car, but it's just not reliable. And that's it right there.
This is the old quote.
Yeah.
Or is
That's the new quote. That's the difference. So the difference is $44,038. That's the difference. So that's the new quote with the new price in it. See what I'm saying?
But it says 8/9/23.
quote.
As well.
I thought you were gonna put both of them on there.
Oh,
That's what I
That's
thought.
the old
That's what I was
one.
looking for.
That's what
I just
it
I
is.
don't have the new one, but that's the difference in the price. This is the old one.
So if it's their mistake though, why do we have to pay for it?
Oh, well, I guess, I mean, unless they want to sell it to somebody else, which they could, because they haven't painted it yet. We took over a year to get it in, so that's up to y'all.
No, I mean, I'm not saying I don't want the
No,
bus, I'm just saying
no,
like,
but they
if it's their
should,
mistake,
yeah.
like, why
They
would
should have corrected it before
cost?
now.
They're not bound by the original contract price.
No, because this isn't the same bus, this has a different number on it, a different price. You know, this is not, this is the quote for the bus with the diesel nose. You know, and so we ordered one with a diesel pusher in the back, and by doing that, it changed the quote to
They
a
just
different
didn't
bus.
Come through with the right paper.
They didn't come through with the
Timing,
price. Yeah, they didn't update us on the price, so we just assumed it's the same price. So they did never say, well, that was gonna be so many more thousand. Well, they never said that until now, they started looking at their paperwork, going, wait, we're gonna deliver this bus, and it doesn't even have, we're that much of the whole on that, so. Anyway, okay, so that was their error.
Right.
But they said we still don't have to take it, that it hasn't been painted yet. But it's in
They
paint.
rated it and, yeah, it's been over a year.
Mhm.
Nobody had any
I mean, I just,
forms with the problem for $44,038.
No.
Most,
I'll make it.
I would say.
okay. Yeah, that really stinks. You know, if we did it, we'd have to abide by the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Levy partnership contribution and MOU with Boulder Trust on indoor golf facility.
Okay, so on the indoor golf facility, the MOU, I've talked to the city, the clinic, and Woolworth. The MOU would be developed in conjunction with those organizations, so all of us would have the same MOU. The difference would be in the amounts of contribution. So I wanted you guys to have that in your thoughts on what you're thinking, if it's a $4 to $6 million facility, when we get the final quote in, what the school district would be comfortable with contributing to that.
$50.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. No, but just think about it. There's no decision at this point, other than I have gone and talked to all the other entities, and they're all interested. Maddox Foundation is not, because the Woolworth is the same type of organization as Maddox. Their bylaws say that they cannot deal with another organization that does the same thing they do, which is Woolworth Trust, Maddox, are almost the same thing, even on 501c3. So it just says we can't really do business. They said if it belonged to the city or the school, then they could. But if it belonged to the city or the school, there's a 30% project works administration on the rate labor. We have to pay about 30% more than Woolworth does to get the same thing. If it's a public project. So if it's a public project, it falls under a different law on like the plumbers, the electricians, all of the unions are what dictate the prevailing wage rates in New Mexico. If that makes sense. And so whenever we do something as a public project, it adds about 30% total onto our project cost. Then they just started a new deal, which we don't fall under because all of our projects have been initiated. There's a new deal where you have to have electric car charging infrastructure, which charges about 10% of total project, because you have to literally dig up the entire parking lot. Say if you're gonna put a new parking lot in, everything underneath it has to be electrified, and then the grid has to be able to support the electric. That means that's all on the public. It's a public project. That is a PSFA rule, not a state law, by the way, so you all know. There has been a lot of protests on it and a lot of requests to waive it in a lot of small districts because they just can't afford it on the project cost. It's adding about 10% to their project just to put electric in. Then they're saying, well, then what about when the electric's in? Who's gonna get the money from it? Because then a company comes in and puts their electric charging station, the money doesn't even go to the public entity. Does that make sense? So the money goes to the person, like say Electrify America or somebody puts in the charging station on it. They're the ones making the money, not the school that put it in, or the hospital, or whatever the public entity is.
And they can charge like a rental fee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably could lease it, but it just adds another complicated layer onto it. There's a bunch of pending, like there's a bunch of pending exceptions to it, like they're trying to get exceptions and say, can we get out of this? So right now, it's a PSFA rule, not in legislation. So it could probably be challenged and the person could probably you know, so, or the entity that's trying to do it. Luckily, we don't fall into that because all of ours have been approved, finished, started.
So what's the discussion on, the partnership? What's your
Okay.
suggestions? Where are you at with it? I know obviously it's not an action item, or it doesn't need to be an action item right now. But it's definitely worth the board discussion, and of course, I'll abstain from the discussion at the moment. Just because I can have part of the discussion, I'm gonna abstain from the vote. So.
I think it's a great idea, I wanna be involved.
I
Since
like-
we've
I
got
like-
first tee starting and all that
Mhm.
golf program, for sure.
Okay.
But until
Are
we
they
see
gonna
a
be able to go
proposal.
during school? Are they gonna be able to go during class, like for a class, or is it gonna be like after?
It would probably be, after school, but then the first tee does have, like little bitty tournaments, and they would do it here. So I don't know if that would be during PE. I really don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it would be on the weekends, but it would be our kids that would participate in whatever.
And they would have access to it?
Yeah, oh, yeah. So if our golf team would instantly,
Exactly.
and then if they have any kind of a program, then that as well. Otherwise, it is membership, like if you wanna pay $45 a month for your family, this is just these numbers aren't even real. $45 for your family or $18 per family visit. You can decide as you walk up to the counter which way you want to do. Well, I'll just go ahead and join. It's $45 a month. You know, it's just like joining, and then you get access to the facility.
So my
But if
question.
they're Scout student, would they be able to get a discount?
I don't know. That's
I mean,
a possibility, yeah.
You know,
They pay into it.
If that's up to y'all in your discussions.
Like, but the public pays the price, and then like the Scout kid, school, student, they wanted to go,
Yeah,
like
there'll be-
them,
there'll
like
be
them and
an
their friends
age
go hang out.
There'll be an age limit, so it could function as a quasi-teen center in a way. So if it's like 13 years and up, can be in there without a parent. That's, for instance, that.
I'm sorry, what I'm trying to figure out is though, as a school district, how do we qualify this?
Because you have a golf program.
Okay,
And it's for the golf program too.
and in that, should we talk to legal counsel about that to make sure? it falls-
Yeah, we,
Or auditor,
we
or?
would when we start developing the MOU on it, but it is possible. It's up to our discretion in the districts.
Didn't they say that's what the core is involved?
That's what the court does.
Okay.
So all schools are involved? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they go, they're interested in it because it's their swimming pool now, because they did away with their swimming pool and just said that's our pool.
Okay,
So their swimming team does practice in Iris there.
that was my whole, obviously I sit on Woolworth as well.
Now, our golf team will have access for their short game and everything in there instantly.
Right, it would just be a matter of how do we justify through the school finance to say, okay, we're gonna fund a public miniature golf course.
Is this like a one-time thing, or is it an ongoing maintenance cost and everything?
So one time, we'll build it. Then Woolworth will reapproach each of the boards and say, okay, we're 100,000 in we don't know without knowing, but we're 100,000 in the whole year. There's 4 entities. Could everybody contribute 25,000 a year to that, for instance, if it is. But if we have membership, that would offset the loss to the Woolworth.
And a lot of this has not actually been discussed within Woolworth
Yeah,
Trust,
yeah.
right? It's all speculative.
Because you don't know until you open it what it's gonna cost a year to maintain it, to keep it up, keep the electricity on, right? You don't.
What we're looking at right now is just the initial building cost, saying, okay, how do we?
And I spoke to Parkville and said, we can look at square footage, but it's just a stab in the dark on how much it's gonna be.
So is it gonna be Woolworths or the?
Woolworth would own and operate it.
Okay.
So Woolworth came up with the idea to build it.
Mhm.
And decided, since it is our mission is for public involvement to develop the public and develop the community.
No, I like that.
Right, and then it's just basically like, how could we maybe get some relief and say, okay, who would like to partner in this a little bit? Just to make it,
Or we could build a nicer thing than just
Right.
a miniature golf.
Right.
Instead of this, it could be this.
that was kind of the idea.
But
Right, if everybody invests a little bit in it, we can increase what we're bringing.
Yeah, and these public entities have a whole lot more money than Woolworth does. Woolworth is not doing bad, but theirs is all from oil and gas. There is no public money coming into Woolworth at all. And all these other people have tax money that comes in.
As a board, the only thing I worry about at all, like I said, I'm not gonna be involved with the bookkeeping component, is just to make sure we're operating within the boundaries of the legal. Right, and we've talked about that, that's my whole thing.
And we are, but I would confirm that with the MOU as it's developed. Our lawyer would have to look at the MOU and say, here, can we do this?
Right.
That's basically, or to what extent, and it's.
And then when an audit
It's
comes,
very
they're not
open.
gonna ask, the MOA will be easy, but the
Yeah.
auditors aren't gonna go, why did you invest in a miniature golf course?
Yeah, no, because, when there's a city, the clinic, and the school, the auditors aren't as concerned because it's all public money. What I'm saying is, we just have to make sure our mission fits. Does it serve our students?
Right.
Our mission is serving the students, but each one of those entities have a different mission, but it fits within theirs as well. So yeah, that's our main question. Will this serve our students? If it doesn't, we really don't.
So they'll have a dedicated time for like the golf team to go
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah, they'll buy a card just to come in for free.
Would that be only during season or year round? 'Cause
Not year round, because
That's what I
kids
would
play
think.
golf all year and practice and get better. So it would be year round, we could give our golf team a permanent access to it and just give them a card saying, you're a member. And they would love that, the kids will, their own. It also would encourage participation in a golf team. Look, y'all can go in here anytime you want if you're on the golf team. We may have too many signing up for golf.
And we have to remember that, I know Brian's saying it's will, but there's 3 other guys that have to make the decision with us too. Right, so there's a whole other trust that has to also, yeah, that's what I mean, there's a whole other board that has to go, okay, yeah, we'll give everybody, we'll give access to it.
Some of the questions asked.
But it's
Yeah,
good.
I know, absolutely.
Well, it's a good question.
It gives me, that's an idea to go back
We take them back to
into the trust, when we have our meeting on Wednesday. I can go, yeah, Mr. Snyder's promising the world. Or we go, Jim, stop, don't let him, just talk to him.
Put the brakes on.
So, it's a good question, for sure, because we just don't know what it's gonna look like.
What is the projection time on this?
As soon as we get something submitted together and Park Hill's working on all the drawings.
Right, man.
So we don't have the final quote. It's gonna be Lasco. There's nobody else that's gonna be in something like that here. And we don't have the final quote, like how much is this thing gonna be? So we can go back to everybody and say, okay, it's 6.7 million. How much do y'all wanna, that, we don't have that number yet.
We have the ability to work much faster than a private or a public entity does,
And cheaper.
because we can have that conversation through a text message.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so as the information comes into us, we're able to look at it much faster, so it doesn't have that delay that we do here, so it can be fast. It can be pretty damn quick.
And that's why all the boards and councils, we want them to know, because they have to follow the same things like the school board does, where it takes several months just to get to that point.
Mhm.
But that's why we're in the background, Parkville's working on everything to get it together. So I don't know, I haven't talked to RJ on that date yet. I'll get one. So that way we'll know how much is this thing gonna be.
Isn't it on the agenda tomorrow? Tomorrow?
I think it is, so
So we might have an idea even as soon as Wednesday,
better idea.
or better. They work, we work much faster than we can here or the city.
So
But bad comparison. Any questions about this? So it sounds like you are at least interested in the topic, right? So maybe we'll have much better, or something, we should have better information by next meeting.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah, cool.
Another activity for the kids actually.
Yeah, and really, there's no teen center. There's
There's
no,
not one anymore.
why would that not work as a teen center with a snack bar in it? My gosh, there's nothing like that around here.
Right.
And, certainly.
Do they have student IDs here? I've never asked.
The student ID here at the school?
Yeah. Let's say if they had an ID, they'd be approved of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we can compile a list and give them the names of kids.
And we keep them. Yeah, they get better.
Good deal. All right, I'll move on to the next topic. Letter C, water line baseball field. city of Chow, $665,000.
Okay, so that finally came in on the quote for the new water line going to the baseball park. The reason why we can't use the existing, it goes through Johnny Mac's property and Sandy Lane. The city is also reworking that entire water thing over on that street. And they're about to start the street in front of the baseball park. But we need an upgrade to supply our facility with more than a 2-inch line, which is all that's there in place now. And it also, if Mr. Johnny Mac wanted to, no, okay, we can literally cut it off, it goes through his property.
I want to say, I thought they just upgraded that line in the street where the bar dips for the road business.
So they did, but that's where it stops right
And,
there.
right,
Yeah.
That's where the housing stops, and so they're not obligated to bring it out to us unless we pay for it.
Really?
So
Even though city limits isn't all the way up to the end of.
Now, they moved the
That
city
trucking
limits
company?
out, but they still don't have to supply, like, we had to pay for sewer lift and water
Yeah.
upgrades over on the Country Club Road, Woolworth did, because we wanted the water going all the way out. Still in city limits, but it's not, they get away
They
with
can't,
it.
like, we can't force them to put a main line, and then we pay for.
Because there's no reason for you to have a main line there.
So,
Because they have 2 businesses, they don't have that.
I don't know if they're gonna take it.
They're getting private water from Johnny Mac.
Oh, there.
so what I've heard, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but they were talking about trying to get some sort of easement or, I mean, even talk about eminent domain right through there for this water line.
They have to have an easement, you have to have one.
Yeah, isn't that what the street they've already got, would they just run it under?
Well,
The street's county, isn't it?
No,
It's city.
it's city.
yeah, so I don't know,
That's
the only reason I asked, or I know is because obviously some people out there, or family, any over there, family members have over there, and they were speaking on that, there's like a bunch of contention right now about that. So, that's what I'm confused about this, is if the city doesn't have that access, it doesn't matter how much we're willing to spend, does it? Where would we tie in?
I don't know, I just know they got a quote how much it would be to supply water. The city got a quote for us to see how much it would be to supply water to that new facility with the new line coming, the trunk line, water line coming down.
Tying into the city lines.
They didn't tell you where or where it's, how long it's gonna be, none of that?
Cause that's
I just asked them for a quote, so,
What would our valve be then? We would need to know that.
yeah, I don't know.
okay. Just because, and this was just a conversation like 3 weeks ago, that there was,
But supposedly they're about to start it,
Okay.
and they wanted us to say, okay, yay or nay, so they know whether to put it under the street. Now, that's kind of was my understanding on it, on whether to put it there. Where.
are you sure they're not just trying to come to us to have us do it? And maybe we should-
I don't know if they're trying to get us to
I
pay for
think
the
they
whole
should be
thing.
responsible for it.
I don't know. I mean, if y'all, I can look into it, but if we, I just don't know. I don't know if they'll say, okay, well, we'll just leave it, you just have the system that you've got. We have to have more water for that new building, so it does put us into a bind, because we can't just leave the 2-inch line that's there. We need more water there.
So would they ever be able to tie into what? if this-
Oh, yeah, it's
So
their property.
that's what I mean, so the
Yeah.
$665,000 that we would
They
spend.
could continue that line and go out to those businesses, for instance, if they wanted to.
Yeah, that's.
From where it is on
Sounds
ours.
like a bunch of bull.
Right, right,
Like, how are we gonna let them tie into the line we're funding?
or from, right,
That
they
makes
say
sense.
we're responsible.
But
Like, it sounds like
but-
our meter should be at the end of that main line that's there now, and the rest of it's ours, we do what we want with it afterwards.
But the same thing happened out on the Woolworth, where we put the business district, all those businesses had to pitch in and pay, not just us. So basically, they put a sewer lift and water lines, well, we had to,
They're broke, we got one.
well, they only wanted their section from here to here is what Woolworth pays. And then Fountain Person paid from there to there. So basically, it's still the city's property at the end of the day, the sewer lift, they have to maintain it and keep it up after we.
Could we get a quote and see about tying in the line?
I don't even know, but I don't know, because it would be their property, so I don't know how to, it's their easement, their property.
So can I,
I don't know how we could put our own water line onto the city's property anyway, I don't know.
where are we at right now with it? In other words,
It's not done, I mean.
well, I know it's not done, like the 2-inch line.
Building is gonna need it pretty soon, but it doesn't, I guess it don't need.
Can they prep the building outside to where we have a tie-in until we figure this out?
They might, can I can
We do that in where I work all the time. We do
Stuff,
future time,
stuff, yeah.
it's ready to go, so when everything else is approved by right of way or some engineer somewhere, then we can bring the other line in. It's there, it's ready to go, it's prepped, tie into it.
I would just like to hear them come and explain to us why we have to spend $660,000 to put in a city line.
Yeah,
I mean, if they're gonna have any access to it, I say we put it in our own line and that's fine. But if they can just come right in and go, hey, thanks for doing that, and then just tie it to the end of ours and just continue on.
and that's what they did, out there. That's what they've done.
Which I didn't understand why they did it there either.
I don't know, I guess it becomes theirs to keep and maintain once it gets put in, so I really don't know how they do that. I don't know why we couldn't put it on our property and just, I don't know, I really don't know enough about that.
Wonder what.
How do we find out?
Have it,
We have to have somebody from there come and
have
have
them explain that to us?
yeah, because that don't make sense.
How about have the city come over and invite them to our next meeting?
That would be great. Is that gonna create a huge delay?
I don't know what it probably will, but I don't know what their timeline is on paving because it has to do with paving all of that.
So the only other suggestion I would have would be, if that's the case, we could always invite them to the special meeting.
On April 1st.
I feel like that'd be a whole big thing though.
Well,
And we only need somebody from the city that can explain to us why they want to charge $665.
right, like why we have to.
We don't need the entire city council,
So what about
I'm
like
just
giving them
saying.
the option of April
like the
1st?
city manager or the mayor, both of them.
Okay, so we want to give them the option of either April meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if.
Depends on their time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, then if, I mean, I hate the fact that we may put a huge delay
Yeah, I
on
know.
a
And
project.
this is the thing though, they may say, no, we've got to get this done. You didn't approve it, we're not gonna do it. I'm just saying, if that's the case, they may do
So what's our alternative if that happens?
To hope that the 2-inch line will be enough and it's not.
Well, but
Can we not call that West right now?
can't we, so let's say they do that, they're gonna have to put in the line anyways, right?
Do you want me to ask you if I can
Please.
see if I can get the city guy on?
Yeah, perhaps, I don't know.
I don't know. I just know we need water.
Well, so my thought is, when you say they just pave over it, does that mean they're gonna be able to put it in the line or no?
Well, right now, the water line that they have over the bar is on the north side of the.
Yeah.
But it's,
I want to say they can put a hydrant over there by Melissa's. greenhouse.
Hey Wes, how you doing this evening? Can I put you on the spot?
That's
We're in a,
465.
we're in a school board meeting and the board, so I have the $665,000 quote for the line for the water field to the baseball. Can you explain, because they have a lot of questions that I don't have the answer for either, like, do we pay for that part and then y'all keep going with it? Or what is the plan on that water line? Is it just for us? That kind of thing. Okay, sorry, if you don't want to be put on the spot, we can get you on the next agenda.
No, that's fine.
So what was the question?
so, hey Wes, this is Jim Goss, we just have a quick question here. This water line, the access we need, obviously, we only have 2-inch water lines out there. There's a $665,000 quote for us to lay a line, but we're wondering why, if it's a city line that you guys can just tie into once we've completed it to extend it and go further east. Why is that an obligation of the school district and not the city?
Well, whenever, I don't know, it's been about 6 or 8 months ago,
Yes, sir.
there was a request to add more water to the baseball field. And so what we did was, we've got to come from where it ends down there, is that Whitford,
That's East Maryland.
East Marion, okay. So from where that 6-inch line ends, we've got to extend it from that point to the baseball field. And the cost that includes is just from the tie-in where it ends to the baseball field. And then we've got another deal with Flow Zone, and then another deal with the trucking company that's further down there, but that's all, that's not included in the price that it's gonna, or the cost that it's gonna be to get it from where it ends right now down to the baseball field.
Right. So but being that it is part of the city infrastructure, and the city is trying to get water to two large businesses that are going to impact gross receipts for the city, I don't understand why the city just wouldn't build that infrastructure, and maybe Flow Zone and the other trucking company, but the school district?
Well, that's how it's that way with anybody whenever we do extensions of sewer or water lines, whether it's a subdivision or whichever. But we try to break that cost up so that it's not, if Flow Zone was the only one out there and they requested a line and they weren't gonna come off of it anywhere, then they would have to pay for the whole thing to go out to Flow Zone. But since you guys are there and need the water, then you can pay your part, Flow Zone can pay their part, and Taurus can pay his.
Right. So does the city at any time though, the city, if they needed to branch off of that line that, let's say we constructed or we paid for, does the city just go in there and do it, or do they have to does it become your property, or does it become ours to manage and maintenance?
No, it'll be ours to manage the maintenance.
Right. So if there was another service that wanted to branch off of the line that we paid, is that something we have to give approval for, or because we paid for it? Oh, this is it. Okay.
Now, if we need to branch off of it and go somewhere else with it, whatever entity is asking for that to be, then they would have to pay for that tie-in, and from that point to wherever we needed to take it to.
Gotcha. So is the city interested in maybe partnering and cutting the school district a little bit of discount? Maybe 50%? What do you think?
Well, I think 50% may be a little bit much right now with all the other projects that we've got going on and the match funding that we've got
Right?
to meet. But
Is it worth the talk?
something.
It's worth the talk though?
Yeah, I can look at our budget and see what we've got, and then I can take it to the council.
Perfect. If you're interested, we have a special meeting on April 1st, and that might cut it close for you. But if you would like to attend, that would be great to discuss it. If not, we can put you on our regular board agenda for the end of April, if that's falls within your timeline.
I think I can make, you said April 1st?
Yes, sir. We're having a special meeting on April 1st, beginning at 6 p.m. And we can put you first on that agenda if you'd like.
Okay, just a second. I can make April 1st work.
Perfect. Thank you, Wes. We appreciate you.
I'll get you on the agenda, that way in case it's time sensitive, y'all can move on with it, so.
Okay, that'll work perfect, and then I can have Dan there also.
But yes,
And will there be any technical questions as far as how it's built? Just like you guys could have our engineer either on call or something.
I don't believe so. Just the size. Well, we have to have at least a 6, right? Or 4.
what is like a 4 or 6 inch west, you know?
6 inch.
Right, yes. Okay.
Okay, I don't think there'd be anything more technical other than what if the city can help and what, from your council.
Okay.
Alright.
And you all got it all figured out as far as the sewer goes, you're gonna put septic in, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect.
Alright.
All right, well, I'll look at it this week and get our numbers put together, and then,
Okay,
we'll see what we can do.
okay, thank you, Wes, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So easy, guys.
Well, what I'm thinking is if they're gonna send it to Flow Zone, when are they gonna do that? Let them do it, and then we tie into them.
I was thinking,
I mean,
it already there.
That's what
it don't, it's gonna pay for their entity.
Up to me.
Because they're gonna charge for the water going off of that, and they're gonna have that commercial charge of water.
But I bet Ozone wouldn't pay $1 million to get it out there to the end. I mean, they just probably wouldn't be able to do it, you know?
Oh, they could, but they don't want to, why would they want
Yeah.
to? Especially when they're already getting water.
Yeah, it didn't add up to me.
Where's Flowzone getting water from right now? Do you know?
John Mack.
And I would definitely ask him that question, both of them, when they come.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a good question.
I didn't know where the stairs went in the first floor. I definitely don't want to qualify. Hey, you missed that.
I heard it, yeah, I said you were still in Australia.
Right, oh, that's right, yeah.
You're still down under.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at least they'll give us something to eat.
I mean, I agree, we probably need to pay for something. But how are we gonna pay for something they're gonna make money on?
Well, that's what I don't.
And then it could be ours.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to
And,
pay
we won't have
for
no say so afterwards.
It.
The only say so we have is at the meter, and that's where, what's that called, whatever change comes in.
Right, it will improve city infrastructure, it improves, I'm not sure the layout of the land over there, but I'm assuming if somebody else wanted to build a house or build something, they have access now, they can tie right in there, we don't get any, we don't absorb any of
So
that.
one of the other things,
Selling point.
right, one of the other things we might could do, in case we don't wanna do that, is tie in at the end of their line with a meter, and then just run our own line right up to the baseball park on our
That's what I
property.
was saying a while ago.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
And it
Just
was
run our own
possible.
line from wherever their line is.
Run our own line over on our property.
And then just pay for that, and then, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, we could always do that if we just don't, if we smell a rat, I mean, if we just don't wanna do it.
Lay it out.
So we'll let them see what they have to say.
Well, and I don't mean to be, oh no, I guess I do. I mean, you have two large corporations over there that are corporate companies, why take it from your local school district?
Right.
Yeah.
But take that 665,000 and just say, hey, you guys can run right by the school district, just so you know, you're paying this much and you're paying this much, thank you for your business.
Mhm.
You know, you're putting into the infrastructure of your
Exactly.
people that are your
And
community you're
like,
working in.
it's 100% profit for them right off the top.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, anyway, well, appreciate.
it's an awesome business plan. It really is. Get somebody else to pay your dues and then
Alright,
you make profit. That's all.
so, we will add that then to the special meeting, I guess, yes. And we'll just make them first on the agenda, so.
Sure.
If that's okay with you.
Yes.
Maybe we can get something out of it.
Okay.
All right, anything else on that? No. Letter E, policy concerning athletic participation center.
Okay, on the athletic participation policy, I don't think
But
Mine is sitting on my
do
table.
we have any,
oh, it is D. Well, we struck D, so.
Yes.
No, I
the
didn't see it.
second read was everything added, that's not it, that's not in policy advisory,
Yeah,
this is our
that's-
own, this is our internal policy.
Yes. We need, that's not the.
It's not in there.
Do you
So
know?
we had a policy last time, we're gonna wait till July, right?
Yeah. It's
So was that the final policy that was presented last meeting?
Yeah, with those
It
tweaks.
was Loving's, he took Loving's
Right.
and made it his,
Right?
and
So
was
we-
happy with it, and just dropped it.
Last time,
That's-
oh, okay.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we just need a final read for the board to have something to approve, if you can get that from Mr. Chapel. You know, what is it exactly, so they can.
Yeah, it'd just be
With
exact
the things
policy.
we discussed in it that they were gonna take out or add in.
Yeah.
If you could have Mr. Satterwhite do that for next meeting, then they'll have a final read on it before they.
Right.
All right.
So we're just gonna strike this one?
No, we'll
It
just.
doesn't have any decision.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, the second read, and we'll just do our third and final read next meeting, and we'll just be, we'll have the policy in front of us.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
all right, letter F, Model Schools Conference, June 22-25.
Okay, so we were looking at the Model Schools Conference to send administrators to June 22 through 25 in Washington, DC. I really don't know if whenever we send somebody to a national conference, I just like to get the board's approval. Because you've already approved, I mean, I do have the money stuff, and you've already approved motels over $200, which it probably would be. And then the entry fee to get into the conference is like a $1,500. So, yeah, we have to pay for all those conferences, like if you go
$1,500?
for everybody, but, so,
Get smart.
so that's the deal, so when we travel out of state, I just feel comfortable to get the board.
Who gets to go?
So me, and that's it. No,
But don't you think the board secretary should be there to take notes?
Principals,
Sorry,
assistant
Carol.
principals, Mr. Loftus, and then if any board members wants to go, you're welcome. That-
Yeah, I wanna go.
So if any board members, if y'all wanna go, I'll give you the invite and say, that we're leaving June 22nd. So, you know, travel plans,
Send us
flights.
the invite, it might be interesting.
Yeah. I'll send you Mr. Loftus, can you get that information?
June in DC is gonna be so hot.
Oh, that's true. Oh, never mind, I'm out.
We went there. You were with us. Oh my goodness.
We do.
We did.
Hotter than here?
It's so humid.
Yes.
So, yes.
But we'll send it, so what we'll do, we'll start registering and getting everything together and then send y'all the information in case anybody wants to go. And we're working on it. We've been one time 5 years ago. It's amazing. Yes, a lot of sites.
Call me when it's in December.
It's awesome. There's
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
When's the cherry blossoms?
Oh, yeah, you're.
When is that?
Is that like April?
Yeah. Tell me.
That would be cool. I've never seen it.
So it's not a discussion, I mean, it's not a.
No, it really wasn't a dollar amount or anything, yeah, if the board's okay with the out of state, if anything, it's out of state travel, but is the permission.
Yeah.
You know, for the
I
administration.
vote no,
Unless you.
unless in a different month.
Just ask them to move it to like October.
That'd be awesome.
All right, letter G, disposal of obsolete equipment, 2004 Chevy box truck, 2007 pickup, and a 2015 Suburban.
Okay, and this is linked to the bus quote, just because it's an opportunity to dispose of those vehicles.
Are they, did they give
Those
us
are the
a,
trade-in?
Yes.
did they give us a trade-in amount? Because it wasn't in that.
17,000, it's 17,000.
That's vehicles?
Well, one of them is $500 if you saw the Chevrolet truck, and then the box truck is like, $2,000, and then the rest is the Suburban, which is a 2015, it's worth the most out of all of them, so.
It just seems like.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The other two are pretty right now. The Suburban is the only thing worth anything. I looked at the Kelly Blue and that's about where
Yeah.
they're.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? If not, we need a motion to approve the disposal of that equipment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All that.
And we already claimed insurance on the 2007, they've already paid for the vehicle. Like, basically, the insurance company paid for the vehicle already to dispose of it, so.
All right, letter H, purchase of the 25 Chevy Traverse.
Okay, so look at the, I do have 3 quotes, and this is why I did it this way, let me explain. I did 3 quotes. Are there 3 quotes here? Oh, there they are, yeah, okay. You can see the top one right there. So I did it this way because if we don't do the 3, we have to do the 3 quotes to procure it or use CES. Well, it's under $60,000 and Tillery takes 2 years. They've already closed the ordering window for Traverses. So if we want to order one, we have to follow the order window. If we want to get one that's on the ground somewhere, we can just get 3 quotes because it's under 60,000. Being under 60,000, it doesn't fall under the RFP process. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so also, why Z71? You're like, well, why does he want a Z71? Because they're 4-wheel drive, and we just went to a basketball tournament, and the AD and another Suburban had to use the 4-wheel drive. They said, now we know why JAL that you're getting 4-wheel drives, because it's not when we're a JAL, it's when we send people up north to Santa Fe. I don't know, did he tell you that? They had to use the 4-wheel drive? Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna ask.
So that's the only reason, and they don't come in a it's all-wheel drive, it doesn't come in anything but a Z71 edition with the all-wheel drive.
Do they have any other engine?
That's the biggest engine too, the Z71 comes with a bigger,
No, that's a 2.5 liter, that's
That's
a little one, that's
the
the one they
biggest.
have the most problem with.
that's the biggest for these things, the
4-cylinder?
The 2.5 liter?
you can't get a V6 in those, it's just that 2.5.
Well, I know they have a lot of problems with those,
Oh, they did?
yeah. Locking engines, we're throwing rod bearings at like 8,000 miles.
Should we get an extended warranty on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody will be calling you about it, don't worry.
Blowing turbos and they don't even make turbos, Chevy don't even make a turbo for it, that you can sell.
Who does?
Nobody,
Aftermarket.
Oh,
not even aftermarket.
Oh, really?
I have a truck still sitting on the shop, been there 8 months.
It's the same.
All it uses is a turbo.
Oh, wow.
Truck runs fine, but they don't have enough.
This is a smaller vehicle than the Suburbans. I figured we need a few smaller things other than, because there's also a lot of teachers that try to drive those Suburbans to conferences and we have little bumps and things. It's kind of hard.
You blame it on the teachers.
No.
I don't care, I like.
We've all
full-size
driven when it was
Suburbans.
good.
I like full-size Suburbans, so. But you know, those with the active fuel management, they're even having trouble with the full-size Suburbans. Oh, yeah. Die and stuff, you know, they'll die at the stoplights and stop signs, so.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Why are you turning off?
So what do you,
What are you asking for?
what are you asking for? Which
For
of these
permission to
would you like to
purchase
go
it,
to?
it does not matter if the dollar amount is what matters, I just wanted you to have the three quotes. So you can go with the lowest quote, or you can just go with a blanket dollar amount, and then it makes it where we can go,
Or that's
we're not locked in.
$60,000, so we
Yeah,
go
yeah.
with anything that's procurement under 60,000.
Because the highest one is 56, the highest one, so. And then I haven't really willed the deal with them yet, so I'm thinking that I can get it cheaper, but I just needed the three quotes. Because then if we nailed it down 2 weeks ago, it'd be like, okay, we sold that one, and then you're going, okay, now I gotta go, you know, it's like a moving target if you're not, you know.
If you don't have the approval, then-
Yes.
Right. So we'll do the motion to approve his purchase up to the procurement amount of $60,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll say.
Got that, Mr. Snyder?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Times one, you can't buy 3 cars. Like 3.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did y'all approve 3?
No.
Yeah.
I gave you 3 votes.
There's 3 coming into town. Yeah.
All right.
And I'm gonna ask
It
him
does
about,
say right here, purchase of 2025.
Whoa, hold on a minute.
and Mr. Chavez, I will be asking him about that, and then warranty extension on it, don't you think?
Definitely.
Okay, the next item is, policy
Yes.
Advisory 246.
Quite lengthy.
Yes.
And that, this is just for you guys to look at, that's all this is right now, and then more discussion on it next. I just wanted y'all to have the packet and have time to process it for a month.
Do you guys, out of curiosity, are you guys getting the policy service advisories from Joe Ian when he sends them out? Okay, so whenever you get them, you know these are gonna be coming. Just, we're gonna have to discuss it here, adopt them.
And then y'all can look and say, what state law that we're gonna probably have to, what is something that's discretionary, and most of this is state law stuff, just.
Which is weird that they're putting it out right now.
They just randomly put it on.
Well,
I don't-
when did the session end? Is it over already?
No, it's not, it's almost, I think it's just in the last days of it.
Right, so it's weird that they put this out now, because if the state changes anything, these policies will be out the window.
They probably just change a little bit, not a whole lot. I don't know.
So for first read, guys, we'll just, you know, you have nothing else better to do.
And then if you guys have any questions on it that needs to go to NMSBA, just let me know that if you're looking at this policy advisory, this doesn't make sense to you, and then I can run that up the chain to NMSBA and get an answer for you if you need that. I'll be looking over them too.
So
Well, this must be an important one.
basically,
Response to that.
yeah, so on the 91-page policy, I went through it, all of it, and basically all they have done is taken out old tobacco language and have put in nicotine language.
Is that the revised copy right there, sir?
This is like a Cliff Notes
Yeah.
So I charged
Version of this.
the
So-
Mr. Office with going through this for us and kind of distilling it down.
Can I have that first?
So
Yeah,
that's
so
all.
you wanna look at that, everything that, if it has an N by it, they put nicotine instead of tobacco, and if it's an X, they remove the policy.
There you go, it's deleted.
So,
Can you get them a copy of
I
that?
sure can.
And then I can send it.
Glad.
What else did I say? What else are we gonna get? And then I'll send it all to them.
Deleted, yeah.
Or something.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, if you can get that.
Thank you, Ray. All right, so we'll just look over that and look over coastal offices, versions, and have that second read next meeting. Letter J, laser scene projector. I thought that's what Coach was standing on. I thought you wanted to talk about that.
No, this isn't my baby.
Oh, okay.
I just asked him to go and look at it, and kind of help us summarize it.
All right.
Appreciate that, yeah, that's really good stuff.
All right.
Thank you.
Want to talk about laser stuff?
Oh, yeah, okay, so, sorry. The next one is laser scene projectors. We're gonna do a production of Grease. I've been asked to sing something to it, and so I'm gonna come down from Anyway, so that's to come, but.
Are you really singing?
The laser scene, it's the beauty school dropout.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And come out of the clouds, but anyway.
But are you for real gonna be singing? You your own?
Yes, it'll be my voice.
Can you sing?
No.
Okay. He was pretty
In the
confident.
shower, I'm very good.
In the shower.
Really good. Nobody can hear.
As long as it's really
And
loud.
I don't
Really
know, this
loud.
may be a disaster. I'll
It's
do
gonna be
lip sync.
amazing. I get to these one and two, so I feel like I know.
That's what will happen on Monday at like noon. I won't be able to.
You'll be able to.
So I think
Good.
was this discussed in the last meeting?
No, this has not been discussed.
Oh.
This is
Well, everybody
a.
seems aware of it, and I'm like,
No.
Well, because we are in the future.
oh, right, you're.
Okay.
This is Pace Audio to add scene projection technology, laser scene projection to our existing auditorium. So basically, what it means is you don't have to rent or try and get scenes. It projects them when you can't even tell they're not. They're gonna look like somebody built the scene, like a literal, like a literal background. So all the backgrounds and backdrops will be laser projected
That's awesome.
in the back of the stage,
I've
and you
only
can
asked
just
for 100%
change
right
them
now.
to whatever you want. You just change, that's amazing. He just said it saves so much time and money.
And that's a whole lot less money than we spend on anything else ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And then that technology is there for now.
Yeah, of course.
It can be used for anything.
Is he gonna run it? Are you gonna get the training for all of that and all that good stuff?
So what they do usually
Yeah,
is.
there is a
That's
lot.
probably gonna cost you.
And that's part of Shelley. Shelley's been doing that on all the sound. So we've got sound and light and all that computerized stuff. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing just seeing what all they can
Board
do.
is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And what they can do during that first production really sold me on this stuff. Because I thought at first, honestly, that sat on my desk a while right there because I thought, we don't need that. We'll just get the shop to build it. Until I started seeing what all they can do with this technology and how the last production was phenomenal. I mean, the whole community was like, I can't believe y'all are able to do this. Kids are kicking in, the program is going fantastic on that. So Mr. Little, do you have anything to add on that, on the?
No, I've been told the same thing you've been told.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just kind of revolutionizes what we can even do in there. Everything like that with technology. And that is ed tech too.
Have we ever considered having like an, I don't know, back in the day it was called an AD class, right?
So in the drama class, they have people doing those roles as well.
Yes.
So like you have curtain people, you have, I don't know if they really, we had a stage manager, not they needed one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
an idea.
And then you've got the kids working the board along with
Right,
Mr. Hess.
okay,
So-
yeah.
So it's built into it.
It's all-
That's
yeah.
all. Oh, cool. Nice. Anybody have any questions about this? It sounds good.
No, sounds great.
All right, need a motion to approve the laser scene projectors for $126,000.
Make that motion.
I was like,
All in favor?
Isn't that cool, we're able to do that kind of stuff here? I mean, that's where we're fortunate.
I was for it before we voted for it, I was just, like, who's gonna run it though?
Yeah.
I mean, we can have it, if we don't have nobody that.
That's what I thought.
We have a ton of
I
technology.
thought that on the rest of it until I saw them, and I'm like, holy cow, they're running this stuff like, the girls are turning on the spotlights and they're doing, and I'm like, how are they already, how are those kids, I could never figure that out.
I sat in the back and I got to watch them do that.
I was,
So I got there late, I wasn't.
And then after I-
walked next to anybody, so I,
and
I was like.
I was the same way. I thought that was the cherry on top of me not eating until I saw them operating everything else, well, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So.
Kids pick up that stuff way
Yeah,
faster.
we had a big bowl.
Right.
Oh, it's up, didn't have to share.
All right. Item number 8, items for future discussion or consideration. We set our special meeting date for April 1st, 6 o'clock. We've asked the city to be there. Is there anything else that we? Awesome. All right, move on. Number 9, principal support.
Okay, Mrs. Colmar, would you like to start?
I will, I will give it 2 minutes, and so that's for questions too.
That's for questions too.
Correct, no questions. Here we go, I'm just kidding. Class enrollment's at 294. First grade Sue's are. Dr. Sue, I wanted to say thank you to Warwick and NHS and, like you were there, Ms. R. That's a phenomenal turnout. If you've never been, you really need to go when they do that.
It's a lot of fun.
The Dr. Seuss, the birthday and what
And
Warwick does.
there were several people commenting and complimenting on how cool it looked in there. You should have seen.
Oh, it was over the top and she.
It was amazing.
So my husband was like, hey, honey, can you take some pictures while you're
I
here? And I
couldn't
go,
believe it either.
honey, I'm in the auditorium and it's dark in here. And I was like, I'll take some pictures. I think I probably already deleted them. But like, Ms. Comer, I don't know if you got some pictures of Ava when she was in the balloon thing, the igloo, but like, all you can see is balloons. I'm like, I promise you, there are kids in there. But it was, you couldn't even see it on my phone, because it was all black light, you know, neon colors and stuff. It was really a lot of fun.
We have our meeting coming up in a couple days.
Really
So please tell them thank you from the elementary staff and all this. Read Across America for the month of March, where first grade is in a competition to see who can read the most books. Lee County Engagement read to kindergarten through second. They brought thing 1 and thing 2. If you want to see, you need to see the pictures on Facebook. Pre-K Child Find starts tomorrow. Day after. 3-year-olds on March 12th, 4-year-olds on March 13th. If you know anyone, please encourage them to contact the school.
Quick question.
Yes.
So for these ages are 3 by September 1st, 4 by September 1st,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes. And then 5th grade student council dance is tentatively set for March the 10th in the cafeteria. I'm a little nervous, but they really are taking it over. March the 27th, sorry. It automatically corrected on my computer, and then go back to that, it's 27th. And then, thank you, testing is set for April 7th through the 10th for grades 3 through 5.
I got a question on that. Read Across America.
Yes.
Is that books that they're reading at school or anywhere?
It's anywhere. It's their reading logs, so, like when they go over to Woolworth, so from what I understand, it's, the kids have the logs, and so like if parents are reading to them, if I'm not mistaken, those count.
Alright. No, it's because me and Charlie read a book every night.
If they don't, I will come back and let you know.
I just don't know how many we read all.
Take a picture of them.
Okay.
Ask him about the log, Charlie will tell you.
I'm pretty sure he will, but
He will
he don't
tell
tell you nothing unless you ask him.
He's a boy.
And then it's half.
And then you don't get all
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
He was.
Oh, and there's no data because Shelley and Lisa were supposed to come and do that, but they had to leave early. So that's why there's no data information, but.
Mr. B brought some information, I don't know. It's here. Yeah.
This year.
Okay,
Can you have them come back in April?
yes, they are. I've already got them.
So we need to hang on to this,
Yes, hang on to
Take
that.
it but bring it back.
It's separate information.
Okay,
This is Mr. V's internal stuff that we're doing.
you just dropped it off.
He's dropping off.
Okay. All right.
So y'all can see progress, basically.
Yes, this is kind of thick this time, Mr. Little. Liking it.
So a lot of trees this time.
A little longer distance between now and next one. Our enrollment's 282, this was junior high and high school. We've had basketball homecoming since our last meeting. I've listed the queen, senior princess, junior princess, sophomore princess, freshman princess. We had a Read 180 consultant come in that get paid for 3 consultations throughout the year. This was their 3rd one, so it was a 5 one.
Yes.
We really got a lot out of that. Family movie night had good attendance. And we showed Moana.
We're going to 2.
We got to use the auditorium, so it's a nice space to be able to do stuff. The cheer team won the NMJC High School cheer
Yeah,
competition.
they did.
That's awesome.
We went to that.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Now, the States is a weekend after spring break, right?
They use the JC's basketball gym, right?
Mhm.
Way too small. There was a lot of people.
Really?
A lot of people. There's
They
people
show
outside.
up for those.
We were outside in line for probably 30, 40 minutes before we made the door.
Wow.
For a long
Great
break,
turnout.
it's overcrowded.
And so they're gonna work on their next weekend, is why they didn't go this week, right? On their.
Yeah, they're working on their state competition.
Yeah, they're working on.
They're doing it Thursday nights, I think it's 7 o'clock, but we'll get that in a second. The academic team competed, in the district for the Lee County competition, and they didn't win it, but they got a lot out of it, it was live, it wasn't an online like they've been doing. And they got better as the year progressed, and they started learning how the game was played and stuff, and what to study, and they're actually excited about next year. I think we have all of those kids, with the exception of 1 or 2 packs.
Oh, nice.
I think they'll be really good.
About how many did you have in it?
No, 12.
12, okay. That's what I thought.
The golf team got 9 holes played in their first competition before it was canceled by wind.
Uh-oh.
But they made up for it. They have 3 this week. They're gone today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Or Mr.
Wow.
Brown.
Great weather today.
And I don't know if the
Brown's busy.
kids that he's gone out there really never played. I think we have some younger ones that's played a lot that's gonna come up, But he said they improved their scores today.
And he started JV competition, which is very smart.
Yeah,
Starting out with JV like you would any other startup.
Right.
I think they shot 114 and 118 today, but it was an improvement. So we did have a school-wide lockdown drill. It was successful. We just had one classroom that would have gotten shot up.
And the lockdown drill has a blue strobe light now, but they just added audible, Mr. Loftus.
Yeah, so now we have blue lockdown strobes that go off in the hallways and in some offices when the lockdown feature is activated, but we just added over the weekend was an audible feature that goes with that. So it goes through the bell system and basically says something along the lines of lockdown, please take cover, lockdown, and it will repeat the entire time as long as the lockdown is active. Since we added that, the blue strobes, we need another relay to be able to activate those in conjunction with the audible feature. So those are temporarily inactive right now until we get the relay installed on that. But
As long as the audible's working.
yeah,
So
and that was the biggest thing is because you could push the lockdown button and nobody knew you were in lockdown.
Right.
Like the doors would shut in the halls and stuff, but nobody knew, like in the classrooms, that you were in lockdown. You get on the horn and say, lock this building down.
Yeah.
So now you push the button and it automatically comes across.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, that's gonna help a lot.
And it'll have a visual at some point.
Yes, yeah, soon, very soon.
Hey, both girls and boys basketball qualified for state, and they both went up and played this last weekend in the first round of state. The boys did win their game. Girls did a very good job though. This is the first time, I believe, in 8 years that they've been to the state basketball team.
Tense game, right?
Sorry?
Did you get to watch the game? Boys game?
Boys game?
That was tense.
Yeah.
It was one.
Yeah, they had that. Yeah.
144.
Well, they'll be playing Wednesday at 6:30 in the quarterfinals. That'll be at Rio Rancho. If they win that game, it'll move to the pit. And it should be in that weekly bulletin that I sent out. Now, they're playing the number 1 team in the state right off the bat, so. You can have it, and
It could go either way.
it can go either way, yeah. There's no telling. They almost beat them here, didn't they?
Yes.
By like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We were hanging with them all day. We were like, oh my gosh, this is the number 1 team we're playing in about to almost be.
So there's a chance they play Wednesday at 6:30, then again on Friday, I believe, is the next game at 8 a.m. and then again Saturday if they were to win that one at 8 a.m. For some reason, 2A always gets those 8 a.m. games. The powerlifting team will actually have a competition here in Jowell this Friday. And the cheer will be doing a community showcase. That's what I was talking about a second ago. They're getting ready for it here Thursday at 7 p.m. And that's kind of a warm up for their state competition.
That'd be nice.
So I'm gonna try to go to that state competition, because I've never been to one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So are we announcing this, community showcase?
It's been on Facebook.
It's going out
It's on the weekly bulletin.
Maybe that's what it was.
I seen it on Facebook.
Oh, you did?
Right.
Yeah, we're putting it out as many places as possible.
It's popular.
She posted it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, other than that, you've got the calendar for pretty much everything that's coming up, that I try to give you every time.
Thank you for
And
that.
I'm not gonna go over those, just kind of look at it yourself. Should be.
Spectators allowed at the Iowa Communal
Yes.
Yes.
Correct?
It's gonna be tight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tight. It's probably just parents only if we can limit that, because it's gonna be extremely
Oh, and,
tight.
wait.
It's in the weight room
Yeah.
itself.
Are we building a bigger weight room in that new facility?
Yeah, once we get that new facility, it's gonna be more suitable to be able to host a lot more competitions like that.
Don't you want to move the stuff out into the gym?
And so, well, you gotta,
No.
no.
Well, two. I was joking. Oh. Sorry, Mr. LeBlanc. I was so serious, I never know. All right, any questions?
Oh, so
Oh,
thank you.
what's enrollment?
Oh,
Is it
he's,
on there?
yeah, 282 total.
Right past, 282 and 290.
290.
We're still hovering around 600 total.
Yeah.
Right, that's awesome. I have a quick question, and I don't know if I need to do it in superintendent's report or principal's report. It's regarding senior bash, and I know that we don't do, as a district, we don't have a whole lot of involvement. But how it's working this year, I wanna make sure that, so they raise a lot of money for that.
They work their tails off.
Right, like $50,000 or something. So anyways, you had a senior this year?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
He's not involved in it,
Oh,
but.
yeah.
His wife is like
My
down
wife's
his
the one leading that one.
All that he says is right.
I get on.
So I heard this year that they're doing a different approach to it, but I heard, and I just wanna, it's just for clarification. I heard it's like a 3-3-3, or somebody can donate 1,000 or not take part. Is there any option for, let's say, if you do a 3-3-3, that if I heard it correctly or understand it, it's like 3 events your parent does, and then you have to put in some money, and then you have to do some, or not
It
money.
was donation,
Right,
which could have been
Water, food.
water, food, money.
Yeah.
You had to participate in 3 events that they were hosting,
right,
and you just had to, that means you had to work the concession stand or the gate
right.
3 times. A lot of people covered it on that KPYS football game, because it was all day long. You worked the gate 3 times, you had your
You could
3.
actually
But
send your
your
friend
parent-
to your place.
Your
as well.
parent or a relative and you
Representative of
had to
some
work
sort.
3 separate times,
Okay.
right? So like your relative,
Yeah.
uncle, aunt, cousin, brother, sister, whatever, they worked 3 times.
Right.
And then the student themselves were supposed to work 3 times.
Right.
And then it was a donation of some kind 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have to be money, just like, cause everything comes out of the same pocket.
Yeah.
So it was, which we got a lot of donations from a lot of different entities.
My only word, somebody had said that there was 4 kids not participating, and I wanted to make sure that they weren't participating because let's say.
They had
their
a contract
parents
at the
didn't
beginning
involve or
and
something.
a lot of them did sign the, we're not gonna participate. And we had some that just went ahead and said, we'll just pay, we don't work.
Right.
I was like,
And over the-
I was like, I don't.
And I can vouch over the years that's involved, because they're always telling me what's
Oh,
going on.
they're
They're
very involved.
They're telling me what's going on, but over the years, what's happened is that you just, okay, let's raise money for the seniors, and like 2 parents. do
Oh,
everything. And so it evolved into, well,
Right.
you need to do it, they've evolved into, probably working pretty good.
Well, it makes sense. I was just worried, no reason, I was sitting there after one evening, and I was like, man, there's 4 kids not taking part. And then I thought, well, the parents have to take part. Some people's kids, their parents won't.
But like
I was
Randy
like, that
said,
doesn't
you can
count
get
now.
any relative,
Right.
and you can, I've even heard them say, your friend can come and do it in your place, your mom's friend or whatever.
Another classroom
Like,
could have went and just
yeah.
said, I'm here to work for someone.
yeah, like Dave, he didn't want any part of it.
I was just worried that maybe there was some
He just didn't wanna
kids
do
that couldn't participate because their parents weren't participating.
No,
That's all
it,
we're-
it,
No, a lot
it
of
was
the
made
kids
very
found out that
clear.
they just didn't want to be a part of it
Yeah.
to begin with. Very beginning.
And,
And there's some kids that didn't want to be a part of it, but the parents still showed up, said, he's gonna be a part of it. I'm not- I'm
And
gonna be a part of it."
if it
And
was
they do.
donated to our students, we would have a lot more teeth in it. However, by the time this happens, after graduation, they're not our students.
Right,
So it's really out of order.
I know that as a district, we have nothing to do with
Yeah.
it, but I was just asking. 'cause
But that's
I
okay.
just want to make sure kids weren't missing out because their parents weren't. doing
right,
it.
right.
No, it was.
And I didn't figure anybody in town would ever do that, but I was like, well, that's the case, maybe.
Well, you never know, and then somebody could come up to you and tell you that, and it's
Yeah.
not true, you
You'd
know,
be
that's
surprised
not-
on the parents that would do it. No, they're not doing it.
Everything still runs.
Right,
The finance,
the money's still
Yes.
set, right.
But, I mean, if you would have seen the contract, it spells everything out. There was nothing left to like, I don't know what this means, but they did a great job.
I think they done it pretty well.
She held meetings all the time.
Yes.
And I hope they continue that, because you can get one senior parent group to the next. I hope they continue kind of the same thing they did this year, because it was so organized and
That's awesome.
and it really
It's
was
the best
fair.
it's
I
ever
mean,
been.
She was Laura.
They had 3 options, you know, and wasn't like you have to do this or else. And I was like, you can volunteer your time, you can volunteer your money, you can volunteer someone else. I mean, it was the way they did it, gave everybody an out if they wanted to help.
That's all, I was just,
But
I
it
was
was
just
just
worried about.
mainly to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
And not just have 2 parents.
That's happens.
Yeah, happened perfect every time.
Yes.
So,
That was my only question.
But I just don't play.
Right.
so on mine, district enrollment is hovering at 600 or right below. It has been since the first year. We can't get over that psychological 600 mark. I don't know, because we'll lose a few and we'll gain a few, just back and forth. But overall, positive. The appeal on the 4-day school district was filed at the 11th hour. Yes. Oh, wait, I just skipped right over that. The spring regional meeting is in Artesia on the 24th at 5:30. You do have a sheet with the invite from Artesia Schools with the bulldog on the top.
I would like to go.
And if y'all wanna go, I'm gonna go ahead and register everybody. So, we're already registered to go.
Monday, right?
It might have a really good legislative update, that's what I'm.
Well, you know what, normally that's like the most boring part, is when somebody feels the need to stand there and read it line by line to us. When we have it in our hands, we can take it home.
And just look
But
at
I like to see, I like what the program says here, you know, about rules for the road, you know, when you're a board member and you're a parent. Like, these are things that actually like apply
cool.
to us, you know what I mean? Of course, the legislative stuff does as well, but I don't need it to be read to me.
Yes, and Artesia usually has a fabulous like system, and their facilities are first class. It's usually a good place to go. They have good
And there'll be some
entertainment.
good food.
Good entertainment.
Although they should feed supper.
Yes.
Yeah, they would.
Absolutely.
I'll be starving by then.
Artesia's been like above and beyond on their GEDs.
I'll try my hardest.
And culinary class is going to have a surprise for y'all at the next board meeting. It involves 4 courses, so please be hungry.
Again, awesome, yum.
And they want to do it as a culminating activity for some of their classes. She's above and beyond.
She's got a group that she's trying to get ready to, in the future, compete.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Nice.
Iron Chef, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes.
The competitions.
Yes.
Great job.
She's awesome. So that's where we're at with that. Current projects, we know those, we've gone over. Paving projects, we still just have the area of the church and the baseball field. And that's really all that I have for you. Everything else has been covered by the principals.
Quick question about the, spring region meeting, what time do we need to leave?
Okay, so it is at 5:30? Okay, so it's at 5:30, so we need to leave here at 3:30.
Okay.
2 hours, it's a little less than that, isn't it? Yeah, so 3:30. We'll be pulling out. In the new Traverse.
It'll be tight.
It'll be tight, but we gotta use it. No. And if we have a problem, Mr. Jennifer is mechanic, so.
And next month, our meeting is okay on the 21st, right? It's, everybody's good with that, April, that's our normal day. And April 1st.
Any other questions for me? What you got?
It's Patriots Day,
What is that?
the 21st. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do.
All right, anything from my fellow Mr. Snyder?
Not for me. I'm good.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll send it.
Thank you guys. A lot of information.
That wasn't long.
Yeah, every month I think, okay, this won't have much. And then- Not bad, that was good. You're all right.
Nice.
Nice.